to Baltimore PokeCon. This is Consort back on the mic, and I'm joined by Teflon Ron. How you doing, man?
Hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you, Consort.
Likewise.
Very excited to get in this Mon tournament. Let's run some Mon.
Yeah. So we got a treat for y'all today. We are doing Generation 1 Pokemon Stadium rentals.
Rentals.
Yeah.
Rentals only.
Yeah, so the rentals metagame very different from standard Gen 1 play. Yeah,
Yes.
You don't get to pick your stats as much. Your IVs are kind of set. Stat experience is set based on the rentals, and there's a little bit of the Gen 3 evolutions, like the top level evolutions, can in some cases be a little bit of a trap choice because they're given some iffier movesets.
Yes. Like for example, they say in this P Stadium Rentals, anything goes, that Alakazam might be the worst choice of the three.
Yeah.
Abra might be better. Abra ends up having stun, paralysis, and the psychic is better. Alakazam is stuck with Psybeam. Oh, there's all kind of stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna get into all the weird jankiness of Mon Stadium Rentals, P1, N64. There's a lot of weird stuff. I see a Doug Trio on the list. You would think Doug Trio would be good, but the meta would say that that's like an F tier Pokemon at this
Right.
point. Oh,
Right.
Get into it. Ethereal, very interesting.
But maybe there's an outside reason for the Doug Trio choice. I do see a couple of the strong
Let me
metagame
help them
picks
with
already,
this.
though.
I'm gonna run on stage and help them. They don't know what to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll hold it down here in the meantime. As well, we also need to look out for the ultra rare shiny Generation 1 Miss. So for those of you who are very in tune with your Generation 1 mechanics, a Generation 1 Miss is a phenomenon where a perfectly accurate move, a 100% accurate move, can actually miss 1 in, 1024? 1 in 250? Something like that. A very, very tiny percentage of the time. It's very rare. In Pokemon Stadium, this bug is sort of fixed, but it's only fixed because it's rolled twice to make sure there's no Generation 1 miss, which means a Generation 1 miss can still happen. It's just a 1 in 65,000 in some chance. I don't remember the exact number. So we got to keep an eye out for that because that could be history in the making. That happens once every century or so. Probably won't happen today, but you never know. You got to look for it. If because if you miss it, it's not coming back. It's not going to happen again. So if you see a Thunderbolt miss for no reason, there's been no evasions going on, wasn't a ground type, you're seeing history in the making here. We are just going to be just getting a little bit figured out here so we can get everyone locked in and squared away and ready to go. Teflon Ron, our resident Pokemon Stadium 64 expert here, is helping them get that figured out. But yeah. Oh, and it looks like we are going to get underway here. So we're just about to get started, and Teflon Ron should be right back. I see him coming right now. How's it going? Let's see. So yeah, the Doug Trio, and a very interesting choice. Very strange. I'll admit I have not seen Dugong either. That's a new one to me.
There's only a few guys with rest.
Rest.
And you can pull it off with Dugong. You can get an infinite Dugong basically. Too bad there's no sleep talk.
I know. Sleep talk. What a mechanic, man. Gen 2.
Rentals of Gen 2 Stadium, Pokemon Stadium 2, Dugong has the sleep talk. And it's pretty good.
Crazy.
Pretty tanky rental, actually, in Stadium 2. Maybe we'll have a Stadium 2 tournament sometime. I'm all mass jump fluff, if you ask me.
That would be rad. I'm way less versed on the Stadium 2 metagame, too, so that would be really fun.
I love this. Okay, let's try to guess who our top guy, Tony.
Yeah, what is
Guess
Tony
his
taking?
First pick is. I think he's going to go for Gengar.
Gengar's a solid opener. Just has a lot of coverage. Is just generally strong. A lot of good matchups.
Let's see what the GOAT picks for his. Oh, taking it back.
Oh,
Can
okay.
he hear us right now?
Oh no. He's like, wait a minute, I just heard Gengar's good. Let me slap Gengar in there. Maybe, but hey, you take every advantage you can get, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe our boy Tony wants to start with Clefable. I'm trying to read the mind.
Yeah.
This Mon player. Look at these graphics.
It's actually it's interesting. There's a lot more physical presence on Goatly's team than I'm used to seeing.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. You know, like that special stat might not, but it is Gen 1 special, so even if you're not getting the defense off of it, it still does damage. Oh my god.
Yo, Goatly's a
What a
goat.
play!
Goatly's a goat. What a counter. Okay, so the question is Tony going to puke up red wine all over this Doug trio with a big Pinot Noir toxic? Nope. Looks like he's trying to switch up.
Yeah.
So what we do when we play this kind of Pokemon Stadium, this anything goes, we have a whole meta where we're watching what the other guy's doing. So
Oh, because you can see.
Goatly has chosen his move already, and right now Tony is deciding if he wants to switch Mon or fight. And I would be watching this very intently. Oh, is he picking his moves blind? He's picking his moves blind.
Oh,
like
you gotta memorize.
he's switching.
You gotta
I mean,
memorize.
I can tell he's switching, but he went and he looked at his list, he memorized it, and then he did it blind, like a pro.
Incredible.
That's pretty advanced. I mean, he didn't even have to do that. The other guy wasn't. Here goes.
And this is just round 1 too. It is the toxic.
I called it.
A very good coverage option there. Just a solid mid ground. You know, you could always go for the earthquake there, but then if you get switched into, you know, like for example, the Dugong, you're not getting as much value off of that.
So look, Goatly's trying to do the game too. He's looking as quick as possible, and now is he going to switch blind as well? God, these guys.
We're really sweating here.
How do they get to be such pros?
I know. I love it.
They've been playing on the Switch. That must be it.
There's a moment of I can see some stress coming from Goatly's player cam right now. There's a tough decision being made.
I'm getting stressed now that I know these boys pick their Mons blind. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sweat.
We're sweating in Stadium 1. Swapping to Alta Kadabra. Okay. A decent special stat. Could take whatever
That's another-
Dugong's throwing out pretty reliably.
OP Mon. Oh, to surf. Okay, that's smart. The ice move that Dugong has can't freeze. It's terrible. Ice moves Aurora Beam or something. It might drop their speed or something like that.
Right. Did maybe about 40% to Kadabra, so a 3-hit KO, and now, I mean, Kadabra's
got that recover. That's why everyone likes this Kadabra.
Yeah, that, but also, I mean, does a lot of damage, too. Threatens a lot of damage coming out.
Please don't switch, bro. Just fight with the Kadabra.
Oh, for sure. You have to, right? Once the Kadabra's out, like, you want to be clicking moves, you know? You want to be hitting buttons.
Okay, what is Tony doing? Back to
the Jolteon.
The main Mon. This is a pretty good fight, Kadabra versus Jolteon. If this drops a special, that'll be huge!
Oh, the special drop, too. Oh, no!
So that's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolt from Jolteon is not going to do as much damage. The crit would ignore it.
Yep. And I believe not quite threatening the 2-hit KO, but still with the special drop, like you kind of just have to switch out there. And so far, we have only seen.
It's a good special take. Oh, somebody's reading minds down here. Okay, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony's playing out of his mind right now.
And we've only seen. Wait, which side is left and which side is right? Which one? Who's playing what right now?
Tony's one player and
okay, gotcha.
is P2. So this is let's see.
Yeah, we've only seen Tony click now 2 moves so far, but is making solid progress regardless.
One still raring to go, but the opponent appears
Okay,
beat.
so this is Tony's Clefable out here to take the Kadabra. Let's go. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Pretty good special take. It's like
Pretty.
a
Kadabra
chancy
should
clone.
outspeed, right? For recover, if you wanted to go for the healing line here.
He'll get in first if he wants to, yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem
They're
is this
staring each
Clefable's
other
going to shoot
down.
an Ice Beam, and if we get a 10% freeze, I am going to lose my
Oh,
mind.
there's where you
Freezing
changed
in
your
this version is
Pokemon.
really bad.
Yeah.
They'll never thaw out naturally. They would have to get hit with a Fire Blast that would burn them.
Yeah, it's freeze is ice beam is something you really don't want to be playing reckless around if you can help it, because that freeze is huge. But switching the Cloyster in instead.
This is rare. We don't see Cloyster all the time. If he uses Clamp, I'm going to be very excited about that. Clamp is basically Wrap, and that's got a weird mechanic in this game as well. This homie might use Clamp with the.
They're staring each other down.
Yeah. I believe in Stadium you can switch out of it though,
Alright.
unlike regular Generation
This
1,
is a
right?
lower percentage chance of hitting. Oh, lucky boy.
Oh, that's big. Oh no! The confusion paying off.
Okay, so it looks like Goatly's getting a little lucky right now. Goatly's acting like he planned this all out in his head. He is getting pure lucky right now.
Hey, Sometimes you gotta play to your outs, and sometimes your outs is a supersonic and a confusion.
Oh, what?
Oh, it missed.
What is the percent chance of a clamp
I
missing?
think it's I think it's a 90% accurate.
2 self smacks in a row. This
Oh,
Clefable. Okay, so this is what we were worried about. Clefable sets up at some point with triple minimize. That would be the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to actually see the Clefable falling on tough times.
Yeah, if Clefable gets off multiple minimizes, we could be here for a while. So it is
two
for the good of the people for that not to
There's
happen.
2 Pokemon we don't like to see the triples minimize, and it's Clefable and Chansey. And oh god, I mean Chansey at least will run out of PP.
Will this Pokemon swap change the flow of battle?
Clefable's
Now the swap to Jolteon here is interesting because I almost feel like
Our issue.
there's.
to scare off the.
I feel like the Dugong swap might have been the play there, right? Because you could effectively wall and probably win the war of attrition there,
And
yeah.
then use rest.
What
The
this?
problem is it's a little dangerous. If you sleep for 3 turns after the rest, that can be
How will
That's
this
true.
swap
very frustrating.
affect the
You
outcome?
are gambling there, especially since someone could just you could always get swapped out on if that happens. And
Okay, so
then,
the question is he going to throw Toxic and land it and switch the Jolteon out? That would be the best move, I think.
if he pulls the Kadabra in for another Toxic,
He's afraid that the Dugtrio has Earthquake. He doesn't know it just has Dig.
True. It is a second Toxic,
Blocked.
but it's not going to work on Gengar. Okay, a solid option there. And again, no threat because Gengar can come in knowing that if it is Dig, you can just switch right back out,
You can
no
switch it out.
problem.
I mean, if the Dig, Gengar would die from that Dig. Gengar will get
It's a
one shot.
revolving door of Pokemon.
Yeah,
The Poison type just gets hit so hard from ground.
Will it be
the double
okay?
swap too, back into Dugong.
It's Pharaoh
See what
underground.
damage Dig does against, and that's going to
Will
burn the
this
Poison.
Pokemon
It's
swap
kind of
change
smart.
the flow
Yeah,
of battle?
buy yourself a little time, get a little bit extra chip there. You are faster though, so you are still taking the hit here on this turn too,
It's a hit.
which is not what you'd prefer.
Now it's Dig.
Oh yeah, the
Dugtrio's
surf
dead
is
in
gonna
one hit.
absolutely destroy Dugtrio. There's no way.
Slowskied. Oh, that was actually bad to go second. Oh, no.
Yeah,
One shot.
One hit.
that's the thing about Dig in with this. Dig is a move you don't want to have to use period. But
That's so bad.
if you have slow Dig and you can predict a switch out, you
Yes,
do
then
get
that's
like a
super
free hit
sick,
on
yes.
the way in, which is really nice.
Yeah, if a Rhydon and just gets a dig off on any other ground type or rock type,
Fireworks are
it's
flying in
huge.
this battle.
It's huge. Rhydon
Cloister
has the
back in.
strongest dig.
And I feel like
This is the fight
Dugong.
you predicted this.
Yeah, I feel like the Dugong potentially walls this with rest, right? Like you could just kind of.
Hopefully, and it cures the poison.
There's
Right,
another
right.
down.
That's what I'd be thinking about right now. Like,
so the idea is, what kind of chip damage can I do before I pull the rest? Should I pull rest now, or should I get a move in and then try to rest?
trainer
And
has
who
issued
goes first? I
an
don't actually
order.
know the speed matchup.
you have to be safe for at least one turn
I
to
feel like
click a
Dugong's
button.
gonna go first.
Combat
It's gotta be.
face each other.
I have no idea. I have no idea what Dugong's speed
What's
tier is.
It just feels like a stronger mon.
It's not very effective.
The rest.
All right,
Aura
okay.
Beam has that side effect. Maybe that was the time for Aura Beam.
Oh, the Supersonic actually is really smart though, because if you get greedy to hit that hit, and then you try to rest, you could actually lose the Dugong here before you can get the rest
this
off.
Cloister's
Ooh.
Supersonics have been very, very lucky. I love it.
Goatly, that's
I
a
don't
big
like
risk.
Supersonic.
That's a big risk, but I like it.
Yeah, I
You
don't like
just swap
Supersonic
out.
unless it hits. That's really amazing.
Tony just doesn't even want to play that game. Doesn't even want to have the opportunity for that to go wrong.
Confuse Ray is great with
Miss the
Gengar. Let's
target.
see if he uses Confuse Ray like
How
a real
will this
OG.
swap
He's gonna use
affect the
Thunderbolt.
outcome?
Come on, Thunderbolt that thing to hell.
Little taste your own medicine there. Throw the confused back.
Gengar has the fastest Thunderbolt
The trainer's
in
changing
our
Pokemon.
rentals library. So let's see if there's a ground type
Oh,
to take
it's
it.
Nidoking.
Come on.
Oh my
These
goodness.
boys are playing their. Oh, sneaky.
What'll it do?
Okay, okay, a solid 50 damage,
Are
right?
these guys playing like three-dimensional chess out here? Or
You have to. That's the thing with the rentals metagame, though, is that for the people who really pay attention to it, it's so
Wow, it's
it's so well known that you have to really be thinking about these like outside the box plays.
It's unplayable. All these one-shots.
Yeah, yeah, and like looking for these like solid mid grounds because this like Cloister's not going to stay in on your Thunderbolt, right? Like, but you got to know like what value am I getting? How do I get value off of it instead?
So the Earthquake's gonna land on Clefable. It's gonna do some damage. I think there's gonna be like
What's
10
that?
HP left on Clefable. Maybe it'll
The
die.
man is hit.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Will this
Okay,
Pokemon
okay.
swap change the
Ice
flow
Beam
of
will kill
battle?
Nidoking in one hit.
Yeah, I think Ice Beam just clears here.
And the question is, has Goaty seen the Ice Beam coming?
They
He didn't.
strike fighting
Cody's dead.
poses.
Oh, he switched.
Oh, it is a switch. All right. Whew.
Yeah. Playing really good. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Cloyster coming out on
Can we
the
get a
Ice Beam.
freeze? Can we get a freeze?
What's it?
Oh, good
I don't think
freeze.
Cloyster can be frozen because I don't think you can freeze ice types, right?
I don't know. Is Cloyster half
How will
ice?
this
Yeah,
swap
yeah.
Okay, no, you
affect
can't.
the outcome?
Oh, okay.
Still a little bit of chip though. You make a little bit of progress.
Spike Cannon? Is it time for Spike Cannon?
It probably kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think of Clefable as like a Chansey clone, so do some normal damage.
They're
Look how
staring each other down.
sensitive they're being with their R button.
I actually think you go for Surf. I think you go for Surf here because Dugong can't really afford to switch back in because if you take the hit plus Toxic here, you can't rest next turn, I don't think.
Oh, this is
The
tricky.
Jolteon instead, let's
This is
see,
a-
it's going to be
this is a
Clamp.
What now?
Well, this is not the mon you want to be trapping in, I don't think.
So the idea is if he can switch
How
to another
will the
Pokemon that has
swap
faster
Pokemon
speed, he'll get
fight?
first turn without losing a turn on the switch.
Oh, I
That's how it
see.
works in rentals. So if he has anything faster than Cloyster, he should switch and he'll get a smack in before anything happens. Can they hear us?
They're
I don't
staring
think
each
so.
other
I think we've got enough distance, there's enough ambient noise at the event. I think we're fine.
Who does he have that's faster? I didn't look at his list.
Um,
Look at Tony's list.
well, I think the Fearo's in the back. That's kind of a scary swap in.
Oh no,
trainers
this shouldn't
changing
have been a
Pokemon.
switch. He didn't realize Clamp continues.
Oh,
Right,
no.
yeah.
Continues, it would have finished the Jolteon. What a
Right.
mistake.
Unless he's calling the switch on the other side.
Will this Pokemon swap change
Unless he was
the flow
trying to
of
anticipate
battle?
with the double switch. That's just the most advanced technique in the whole game.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an anticipatory double switch yet, and I don't know when we're gonna see that. I mean, that's real serious. I'm impressed by their R button
They're
use, but if I
staring
start
each
seeing
other down.
double switches out here, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Snorlax in now. Pretty solid potential wall breaker.
Trainer hasn't given his orders.
Snorlax in this metagame really just Mega Kick hits really hard. It's a little risky because it has a high miss chance.
Yeah.
But that Mega Kick when it lands does a lot. Now you could probably just go for the Rock Slide here to get the finish off. The Toxic is going to be a big thing. He goes for the Mega Kick. What a maniac.
Good end.
What a maniac. Because
This
if
is
you
a
miss
tough
that, that could be bad.
Like playing their
I
minds.
didn't see how many
What will the next
PPs
Pokemon
got
be?
busted,
He's on 4 out of 5.
Oh,
We are watching this with bated breath right
I know. This is so
This is only the
intense.
first match. I gotta pace myself. It's too exciting.
I know, that's why I had, like, my beers calming me down. like bringing me back down. It's like,
I'm getting too amped.
I got, like, the butterflies in my stomach. Like,
Mega
I
Kick
was over
will
on the other
do
side where, like,
damage.
the art is.
Mega Kick's gonna do damage to
All right, all right, all right.
Mega Kick will hit.
Mega Kick will do some big damage here on hit.
trainer
But
hasn't
the
issued an
Earthquake,
order.
that's the question. How much will the Earthquake do? Maybe like 60% of the
Snorlax should be able to,
Oh,
should be relatively healthy into that. Gonna swap out though.
Switch.
Preserve the Snorlax. Into the Nido. Oh,
Ditto
that,
match.
if it's the Earthquake, that could be not great. It's gonna be the double kick instead.
Smart. A fighting move against the
it's
Snorlax.
not very
Clever.
effective. How will
Okay, so
this
now
swap
Nidoking's gonna go
affect the
first and
outcome?
wreck the Nidoqueen.
Right. Unless we
then-
see the switch out.
And then if Nidoqueen throws the Earthquake, it could win though.
This could be the, oh, it's
Earthquake
not
versus
though.
Earthquake. Because look at the damage on Nidoking.
Perfect day.
I don't know if this is a one-hit shot, but it's gonna be close. There you go.
Still alive.
Yes!
Earthquakes.
Oh, the Queen
Oh my
wins!
goodness.
The Queen wins! Unless it's like 1 HP.
Like a bad Pokemon.
Oh my goodness.
Down and out.
He's gone.
goes Frazier.
That's it.
Pokemon is coming out.
All right, all right.
When's Fear coming out? Every time.
Tony
Block
make it.
the Earthquake.
That's a big turn of momentum for Tony. I feel like Tony's
That's
been kind of on the
huge.
back foot through a big chunk of this, but getting that solid KO. You are outsped here though, and you gotta wonder like, what is there even a safe switch in the left here, or do you just have to sack the
One shot on
Nidoqueen?
I think Nidoqueen has to grow.
I think you have to just sack it here, right?
Unless Slowbro comes out. Slowbro would tank the Psychic really nicely.
I forgot about the Slowbro. I forgot we had Slowbro in the back. That's huge. Yeah.
Boys really
Oh.
play their moss.
Huge, 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 huge. So now you actually have a solid special drop that would be tragic. 10% chance. Doesn't get it.
Okay, so what's the best move that Slowbro can use? Surf?
Surf probably, yeah. Although I believe it does get stab on the psychic side too, but I can't remember if
If it
it's.
goes psychic for psychic and see who gets the special drop, that would be very exciting. It's kind of Russian roulette. Surf. Playing smart.
Yeah, but the surf may just KO here. Oh, not even close. Not even. Wow.
Special
Okay.
defense is so high on
Goodness. Yeah, I guess you have to kind of now just go psychic for psychic and try to land the special drop, right? Another recover. He's going to bring this Kadabra all the way back to full HP.
He's making progress.
Oh. Another surf.
Kadabra's basically like the Mewtwo. Whoops.
So at this point, if you're committing to the surf here, then you're
It
kind of
might
just have
crit.
to.
It might crit.
You'd have to PP Saul out the rest of the.
If the surf hit crits, it'd be pretty big. There's no physical moves on Slowbro.
They're staring each
Slowbro
other
has
down.
like something like Harden or something useless. Disable. That wouldn't be good.
Goatly's
If we
just
saw
looking
Slowbro
for.
shoot the little strings out, that would be exciting, but
The trainer hasn't issued an order.
Right.
disabling recover would be
Oh,
amazing.
there's going to be a change.
Yeah,
of
but
Pokemon.
disable
Terrible.
yeah,
Terrible
disable in Stadium in Gen 1 disables a random move,
Yeah,
not the last
it's-
one used. So
you
you're
gotta
like,
like the 55% and then the 25%.
yeah, it's a long shot for sure. Cloister does take the surf really nice, a solid switch in.
I've tried to use disable in Stadium 1 rentals before, and it has been a painful experience.
The supersonic again,
We
no
all remember
way,
everything.
no
Nobody
way.
forgets.
3 supersonics now have all
That
landed.
is incredible. This
That's
Cloyster, I have to
crazy.
write this down. Does Cloyster Supersonic always land?
It can't, but it won't happen anymore because Cloister is gone. It is no longer a threat. It can no longer confuse anyone.
If I have to put Cloyster on my list. Wow.
And Goatly, despite the fact that the Kadabra is still healthy, like otherwise is losing a lot of ground. Firo in the back right now doesn't really feel like there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot done with that. This Snorlax already toxic.
The Mega Kick could kind of beat up Slowbro, actually. Slowbro's a little bit tanky on body, but that could, if that lands, that could do a nice smack.
Snorlax is the mon you want in here because you need a wall breaker here,
The
right?
Psychic's not going to do that much against him.
Oh,
This Slowbro could be in a bad situation if this lands.
What's this?
Okay.
oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
Oh my, that's a tanky mon.
Yeah.
You take that much damage.
Still raring to go, but the opponent appears
Slowbro is
beat.
pretty tough for being able to take that, yeah. If it was at full HP, that would only be like halfway through.
Slowbro
No,
swapping
exactly.
out.
To its Pokeball.
Gonna be the Gengar instead, so if it's Mega Kick one more time,
That's going to miss.
it's just gonna miss. We got the
That's
immunity.
Precious PP going down the drain right there.
Yeah, Mega Kick is that a 5 PP move? Yeah.
So he's got 2 left. Oh, and he's managed to land all the ones that could land. So these guys can't be that mad about their luck overall. They've both had good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
They're staring
Between the
each other down.
Supersonics and that's a tough decision.
Yeah, what's the play here?
He did something blind. These boys are really being very serious.
Confused, right?
It's confused.
Smart.
I do like that.
Oh, Rock Slide would be super effective. Oh.
Oh no.
It's confused.
50 damage. Then the poison.
The crowd's excitement
That is a
building
lot.
over this
Rock
hot
Slide lands and
battle.
crits. It could maybe kill Gengar in one shot if it crits.
Yeah, and that may be your only out at this
Super
point if you're
effective
Goatly.
against the poison side, and it's good. It's good. Like Rock Slide with Rhyhorn does like maybe 70% of damage on Gengar.
Yeah, and you just don't have another switch in, so this has got to be, this Snorlax has to be able to do the job. There's just nothing else
That Rock
left.
Slide off,
It
bro.
shook off its confusion.
Went for the rest. Okay, okay. Big gamble.
So Nightshade's not
Neither
going to
one
do that much
is
against the
conceding an
Snorlax.
inch.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He can't be paralyzed from the Thunderbolt while he's asleep.
What's that?
That's kind of cool.
Let's see. Thunderbolt's doing.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Did a lot.
Woo!
Is that a crit?
It's fast asleep.
Doing 70 damage.
Fireworks are
too much.
flying in this battle.
Yeah, this needs to be like a 2-turn sleep, or else you have to click rest as soon as you're waking back up.
Face each
I
other.
might get into this.
That said, though, I mean, maybe you can, at this point, PP saw the Thunderbolt out, right? Like, Rest is only using a PP. Oh, no. It woke up.
It's too late.
The intense
Nightshade
battle
Oh.
continues.
Oh man, I think that Tony got this.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think Tony has this clinched because Snorlax no longer can do anything, but there's no switching. Unless you, even if you swap out and, like, sack the Fearow, it doesn't,
Writing's on the wall for
it doesn't get you
Tony.
anywhere.
They're staring each other down.
There's
I
just
mean,
nothing
for
left that can
Goaty,
take a Gengar Thunderbolt.
Our boy Goatley is kind of.
All the stages of grief right now.
Goatley's kind of. Yeah, it's a sad moment for Goatley right now.
That's gonna be it. Gengar just clicks Thunderbolt 3 more times, cleans up
Okay,
Snorlax.
so let me say this: if Fearow can survive a Thunderbolt and get Fly Off on Gengar, it's a one-hit kill.
Okay.
Gengar is so weak against flying stuff. It's not like a special effective thing, but it's like a pseudo super effective.
But you do have
In
to
my
swap
opinion.
it. You do have
Oh,
to
this
swap
is a
it,
one-shot
right?
kill. This is smart. This is a one-shot kill on Gengar if Gengar stays.
How
Maybe.
will
Yeah.
the type difference
If it's a
affect
crit.
that?
This Kadabra's got to pull a lot of weight to bring this game back, though.
Kadabra is just going to scare off the Gengar. That's going to be the main thing, I think. Or not. You know, he wants to fight. The Psychic's going to land pretty good.
That's a good hit.
Okay.
And then I think he'll have time
42.
to recover next turn. Let's see what happens.
That is
Special
a
fall would be huge.
That's the weak spot.
Okay.
Oh!
See, it's close. Yeah,
Hangs
it's
on by
close.
17
I know it's not a
health.
one-shot. It's close, though. Okay, the question is the recover coming? It has to.
It's got to be, right?
Well,
You-
no, it could. He could just take. He could survive this, the Thunderbolt. Or no, the Nightshade will kill him. No,
Nightshade.
Yeah, Nightshade just finishes the job.
the Nightshade kills
Good
him.
hit.
Ouch. There was nothing to do there. Oh, now, okay, so now Fearow. Oh, maybe it should have switched to Fearow
There's
at the
a
end right
distinct
there to save
difference in the
Kadabra.
number of remaining Pokemon.
But it wouldn't have mattered the first. Gengar's too quick.
Process, he wanted to go psychic against
Oh, it's Fearow.
So right now, Gengar has become what we call the shooter,
This is a
or the
fight
closer.
between
There's
two
one guy
different
that's able to
types of
draw his gun
Pokemon.
faster than everybody else.
Yep.
And quick draw Gengar is going to shoot at everybody.
He's just sweeping his way through the team. One more Thunderbolt.
Oh,
the
that's a
crit.
one-shot kill.
Just for a little extra style points on the end there. And that's going to be it. With
All
Tony
right.
taking game 1.
Blood hath been spilt.
Oh, is it, actually, we're doing best.
Goatley
It is just,
gets thrown to losers.
Yeah, wow. Woo! You know, it felt like Tony was on the back foot through a good chunk of the beginning of that.
Something went wrong. He kept getting, the Cloyster was giving him problems.
Well,
Supersonic.
Cloyster hitting every single supersonic was pretty tragic. That's
And
some
then
real
Chansey
bad
never
luck.
got an ice beam, or what's it called? The Clefable never got an ice beam off. So yeah, there was some crazy back and forth.
Yeah, it was,
Am I right? Tony had the Clefable up there? I can't see
if I
it
remember
now.
correctly, yeah, it's hard to see. I know Tony had the Dugong as well, which was actually doing some really solid work as an opening game like
I wish
Pokemon.
Dugong had some physical attack. Maybe it has Headbutt, a 2-turn move. It's like so bad you can't even use it.
Right.
It draws in its head.
doing push-ups.
If only.
Okay, let me help the boys out with the technical stuff, the next ones.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll be hanging out here. So as you can see, for those of you who aren't as familiar with the Stadium Rentals metagame, it's very different from standard Gen 1. You're not seeing as much of the Tauros, Chansey, Snorlax. I mean, Snorlax is still around, but his purpose is a little different here. Here he is more of a wall breaker and kind of a mid-game, positional threat more than he is just an easy swap in. And you see, the second stage evolutions getting to come out. Kadabra doing a ton of work there. Alakazam in Rentals just is limited to, I think, Psybeam, I think, for Psychic Stab. Doesn't have Recover, so, the difference between playing Kadabra or playing Alakazam is actually huge. Yeah, no worries. I think we may be doing a commentator swap here in a moment. Because I think Teflon's set to play. Maybe not. Hold on, he's coming back. But man, already seeing like again, like same with the VGC yesterday too. Like just the level of competition here coming out of the gate, like just way stronger than I was really expecting to see, especially this early on. So this is really exciting to see, and I've been studying up on the metagame for rentals a little bit, but even then I'm seeing some mons that I'm not as familiar with. The Dugong was definitely an outside choice, but an interesting one and effective. Cliff Fable, I mean, having minimize in Stadium is a big deal. Being able to just click minimize, with it being, some Pokemon having less potential to KO you out of the gate, being able to click evade, and it's not banned here. Regular Gen 1 play, minimize is banned. It is not something you're allowed to do, but there are no bans on moves and things in Stadium, so that is something that you have to be accounting for, which, on the other end, then raises the priority of Swift being a not able to miss move, because even though it's not doing a lot of damage, if something's clicked minimize 14 times, that might be the only thing that's landed, Whew. But off to a strong start already. And we'll have our round 2 up and ready to go in just a little bit. There are some really wild, I'll tell you what, we can start looking at some of these rental sets, talking about that a little more in depth here, yeah? I have them up here on my phone, actually. So you saw a Nidoqueen and Nidoqueen last game, too. So one of the few, Stage 3 evolutions that has access to, Ideal Stab, being those two. They both get Earthquake. Nidoking also gets Substitute, too, which is crazy. Not a lot of mons get Substitute in this format. So being able to have that as a click on a switch in to kind of scout is a huge deal. You don't have a lot of other options for swapping potential. Sleep, on the other hand, though, there is Sleep Clause built into the cart. So you can only sleep one Pokemon. That includes if a Pokemon rests. So because of those two factors combined, the effectiveness of certain sleep moves goes down by a lot because A, you can only ever get rid of one mon with it, but also B, if somebody on the other team is already using rest for recovery and then swaps out, it can sit in the back and just sleep and just hang out, and prevent you from getting another sleep off on a key mon. So that's a painful thing to have to deal with. There's still a lot of Pokemon that are just even with the little bit of help that Stadium tries to give for the weaker mons, the lower BST, base stat total mons, the not fully evolved Pokemon are still just not good. Golbat, it still doesn't get anything because there's really no great flying stab that Golbat gets access to, even if he gets his ideal moves. There's no good poison stab, period, in Gen 1. So, nothing's really gonna make Golbat usable, even with the Gen 1 metagame being what it is. Something to actually think about, though, a kind of a wild outside pick, and I kind of hope I'm seeing it sometime today, is Paris. Not Parasect, but specifically Paris. Getting access to Spore and Slash, having a guaranteed sleep move can be a big deal, while also having a way to put up reliable damage. Parasect also does get Spore, but is stuck for Solar Beam for Grass Stab instead of Mega Drain. Takedown dealing recoil to it, so you still have Parasect for Spore as well, but arguably Paris a better choice because of the reliability of it, and not having to worry about the recoil, being able to actually hit grass targets. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff. The Doug Trio, that game was so wild, though. That's one.
I wasn't able to watch it. I took this as my moment to very quickly get ready, make sure everything was set up. So I wasn't able to catch too much of that, but I know I saw Snorlax putting in a lot of work.
Dude, man, the level, it's same as the VGC yesterday. The level of competition right now is just actually kind of crazy. I mean, there was a lot of predictive switches. There was a lot of really intelligent mid-ground plays, to predict switch-ins and still get progress while also, preparing for the idea that you really don't know what's coming in just yet. Really cool stuff. One mod we didn't see and that I'm kind of surprised. We've not seen Persian yet.
Okay. I just made sure. I saw it was up there. I was like, oh, let me step in just in case.
Yeah, we haven't seen Persian yet. Persian in the Gen 1 in the Stadium rentals is very, very strong. Stadium changed the way that crit is calculated a little bit.
Sorry, that was going to be my next question because I'm well aware that Stadium changed a lot of things, such as how crits work.
Right.
So I was wondering if it's still similar to Gen 1 singles where it is calculated by the base speed.
It is, but they changed the formula a little, and they
Okay.
changed it in such a way so that slower mons have a good chunk more critical hit,
Okay.
and faster mons have a little bit less than they would have.
Okay,
But
so
it's
they balance it out.
right. It still definitely favors fast mons. Fast mons are going to crit significantly more often, and even with that, and Persian being one of the faster mons, even with that little bit reduced crit chance, stab slash is just a lot. But you also have Mimic.
Mimic. All right, Gen 1
So
Mimic.
Mimic can do some really, really funny, like Mega Brain kind of plays where you predict a switch in, and you click Mimic and can pull a move that actually is like going to be super effective and be a threat into the switch in that you otherwise, it could be a mon you otherwise cannot cover with Persian. So you could, and because slash is such a threat, there's a lot of mons that are frail on the physical side and are gonna get outsped by it. A lot of mons just have to switch out on Persian, which means that you can decide, hey,
Let me
I'm
bring
gonna
in,
not
Golem.
click slash.
Something with more physical defense.
Right, something that might resist your slash. You can instead say, I'm not gonna click that, and I'm instead gonna click, or it could bring Gengar, who's
Gengar.
immune. I'm gonna click Mimic instead and try to pull something that can actually answer this mon, from that instead of going for the obvious play. So that's a very fun mon in the Generation 1 rentals. Whew.
I know I also have the list, and I was going through it earlier, and just really was in awe because I do appreciate how they sort of treated Pokemon Stadium as like a little bit of a balance patch for like PvP,
Yeah.
because they were like, oh, put your Pokemon from the games in, but we're also using it as a balance patch because there were a lot of the things that just didn't work the best on the Game Boy Advance. Not
Right.
Game Boy Advance, Game Boy. So they fixed a bunch of things, and then they were like, well, if you don't have it, we're going to try and make everything.
It looks like we got Game 2 up and ready to go.
All right, yeah, we do.
They're connected, and as I was talking about, there he is. There's the boy Persian. You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this cat do some crazy stuff. Articuno actually pretty solid in this metagame too. The other two legendary, Zapdos is also pretty solid. Moltres, unfortunately, still kind of sucks. Oh, this is okay. So this is still, or no? Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, awesome. We got Teflon Ron, who was just here on commentary, is up now playing.
Let's go. Winner of last
Rocking
year's
the Persian, too.
tournament as well.
So no, I found out. No, it was a friend of his, though, but he is also very, very knowledgeable on this metagame as well.
So if he didn't win, he was probably like runner-up?
I think so. I imagine.
Still very much someone who knows what they're doing.
Oh, I mean, chat knows. He was here in commentary. Very knowledgeable. Absolutely knows what he's talking about. Goatly put on a very, pretty strong performance last. I'm sorry, not Goatly.
Mystery player who will know when Muhammad tells Mars who the other player against.
Yeah, we got a mystery player. Hold on, what's going on here? Players locked in their mons real fast there too, man. That took no time at all. We got the Dugong coming back.
Absolutely knew what they wanted to go for, and they knew what strats they wanted.
Yes. We got Ben. All right, we have a name for our mystery player now. Oh, okay. Wait. We're restart. Okay, we're rebuilding. Yeah. Oh.
Kingslayer.
Okay, never mind. Okay, we got another.
Okay, not Teflon Ron.
Yeah, not Teflon Ron. My apologies. We got Kingslayer.
It looked like Teflon was there. Oh wait, on this one.
I'm guessing what maybe happened. Is Teflon's opponent wasn't here right away.
Okay.
So to keep the stream running, they may have swapped the matchup on stream to keep the ball rolling.
Still sticking with the Persian here.
Yeah, the Electabuzz is a very interesting. That's actually one whose set I'm not as familiar with. Jinx very good as well.
Electabuzz running Thunder Punch, Mega Punch, Thunder Wave, and Psychic.
That's pretty wild.
Which I do love the mix of physical and special offenses here. especially with the Thunder Wave as well, to status our opponent. So I am a big fan of this, especially with the Psychic. Psychic is just such a dominating offensive type in Gen 1
Yep.
that you absolutely, if you have a Pokemon that in this meta, since it's Renal, you can't really change your moves, a Pokemon with Psychic alone already pays for itself off in spades.
Yeah, and Electabuzz is usually a Pokemon that you don't see very often because the BST just really doesn't. It's not super fast, and it doesn't really have great attacking stats.
Right.
But again, in the Rentals metagame,
Well-rounded,
there's a lot of balance being done as far as like Pokemon with lower BSTs getting compensation in the form of better stat experience.
Yeah, better stat experience. Sometimes better moves as well.
Right, even though something you would never use in regular Gen 1 might actually have some sauce in Stadium with those little balancing considerations accounted for. So kind of excited to see that.
I'm super excited for that. That's one of my favorite part about the rental Pokemon in the Stadium games is even if your favorite isn't necessarily fully evolved or the absolute best meta pick, they were doing their best with the rentals to try and make them as even as possible so they could play with the best of the best here.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there's still some mons that are going to be unusable. Like, I'm sorry, Metapod fans, but it's not happening for you.
Yeah, sadly for our Metapods, our Kakunas.
Yeah, I'm sorry, people who like Golbat, but like, you're a flying type in Gen 1.
Yeah.
And a flying poison type in Gen 1, which means you have. I'm sorry. A flying poison type with no beak in Gen 1.
Yeah.
Which means you have no stab.
Yeah, no stab.
Zero stab. I forgot about Drill Peck for a minute.
Yeah,
So
Drill Peck is good, so.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately.
Oh, I
Golbat
even
is
went
not
up and looked at
good.
Golbat's moves. Confuse Ray, Haze, Bite, and Mega Drain.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of wild too is like some of the rock Pokemon in Stadium got really shafted on movesets. So it's like you have like Graveler, and that's like it, which then means that like hypothetically stonks for flying types should be going way up, but
Right.
then most flying types just don't have a good stab, so it doesn't. You know, it's
Right. It was one of those things where like there weren't as many moves to work with back in Gen 1.
right.
So we sort of just had to take what we could get and run with it.
Do you know what options ghost types have for stab in Gen 1?
Nightshade, which is set damage.
Yeah, well, so because it's set damage, it doesn't get stabbed. They have one
Yep.
move. They have one move that does get stabbed.
Oh shoot, it's Lick.
It's Lick.
Oh my
That's it. A 10 base power move.
The
You're
10
never
base
using it.
power. Oh.
Yeah. Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl
Ooh.
actually one of the bigger winners from
Alright.
this metagame because it's one of the big things that holds Aerodactyl back in Gen 1 is just that like that's generally like the moveset and the stat spread being a flying type,
Right.
it's just weak to a lot. It doesn't do very good into a lot. But everything that Stadium does to kind of compensate all kind of benefits Aerodactyl.
Absolutely.
So in this, it's actually like pretty useful. Tauros though, and Tauros, while Tauros did get shafted on its moveset, and it's not nearly the metagame threat it is in Gen 1, it still hits really hard. It still has stab double edge, so like it's still a threat.
It does also technically have Bite. If you want to,
Bite.
if you do want to make a prediction, it's not the best move to go for, but
Bite
it is an option.
Bite is one of my favorite Pokemon moves. It's a shame that it's so absolutely atrocious because it's a very funny move.
It's like I am a go for the funny option player in every single like part of like my heart, soul, and being.
Right.
So it's like this is the funny option. Should I be going for it? Absolutely not. It's also by chance the worst option. But is it the funny one? Yes.
True.
Because if it works, you're getting hit by the funny move. What are you gonna do about that? You have to eat the funny move.
Right. Oh, by the way, something we have to look out for: the shiny Generation 1 miss.
Yes.
So, Generation 1 misses one in, was it 256, I think?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So
Or like any
Stadium
move has that one chance. Did they fix that in Stadium?
yes, but also no.
Yes, technically.
So it's fixed, but the way they fixed it is that if it rolls a Generation 1 miss, it rolls the accuracy check again. which means there's a 1 in 65,500 and something chance that a fully accurate move in Stadium can miss. So we have to look for it, because if we miss it, we'll never see it again in our lifetimes.
All right.
It is a once a millennium occurrence, you know.
I need the shiny hunters running this, actually. we don't need any more shiny Pokemon. We've seen enough. I need to see the Pokemon Stadium 1 misses.
I don't need shiny Terapagos. I need my shiny Gen 1 miss. Yeah, it is actually the single lowest chance for a single event to happen in Pokemon, period.
Really?
The only exception being technically, it is the same odds as getting Mirage Island to show up if you have only one Pokemon in your party, but who does that?
Yeah. If you're looking for Mirage Island, you're putting as much as you can.
But yeah, so it is the rarest thing you can have happen. So if it happens...
Shiny Hunters, I'm giving you a mission.
If it happens on the stream today, you sub to Marsapalooza Arcade. That's a rule. That's a rule.
You got to sub.
And then you come to Baltimore PokeCon. Yeah.
You come to next year's Baltimore PokeCon whenever that's announced.
I don't make the rules. I just convey them.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Shiny Mirage Island. Oh man, if there was a shiny Mirage Island now, that's prime for round
just a
hackers.
slightly different color palette.
Right.
No, it's like a Gengar shiny where they just change the saturation by like 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is.
Ben is really thinking hard on this Pokemon choice, by the way. Like.
Yeah, considering this is pretty much we're choosing who we want to lead with. And that is going to be like really what could make or break for a lot of these matchups.
Yeah, and that really is the only thing that matters here. Everything else, your order doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of who are you leading with.
Right. There's no other Pokemon that really affect that. There's no Zekrom for a good maybe 15 years.
Yeah. So me, a degenerate. I send it. I lead Chansey and start clicking minimize.
Right.
I'm just looking for a chance to get this thing in, click minimize, and make other people roll dice.
Yeah. It's always fun to go for the gamble options.
Yeah.
Because what's the point in doing a game with RNG with one of the lowest chances ever of happening, and you're not going for the funny stuff. You're not going for the funny RNG.
That said, though, as soon as an evasion move is used, then the shiny Gen 1 miss can't happen anymore.
Right.
There's now an evade chance.
That's the only issue.
Double-edged sword there in a lot of ways. But yeah, there are no banned mons in the Stadium Rentals metagame, and there's no banned moves, which means spamming evasion moves is absolutely something you can do. That is a choice you can make.
Yep. It's
No
one of those
funny
where it's
stuff.
like, technically, is it fun for the other player? Probably not. Is it funny for you when it misses?
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, I play Mega Man and Smash Brothers. I am all about the other person not having fun. That's my entire playstyle, all right?
Sword player, baby. No one's allowed to have fun here.
No. The only person that's allowed to have fun is me, maybe, if you get frustrated enough. But otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
not happening. Not happening.
Like, the first time someone got frustrated against me, I felt bad. I'm like, ooh, is this how the people on Elite Smash felt? But the second time, I was like, you were annoying earlier. Now it's my turn.
I'm ready for the double Persian lead.
Oh.
I think that would be wild.
I would like that. Even then, because then that puts us in the Persian Mimic Mind game of, are we just going to trade speed ties and slashes at each other? Are we going to swap?
Right. That's a very nuanced situation.
Yeah.
It's nuanced because luck can really,
Just come right in.
can really throw a wrench in your plans there.
So we'll have to find out. Were you able to see Ben's 5th choice, which is covered by the name tag?
I did, but I forgot it already. What was it?
Do we think we could try and
also been Executor.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we go by what is one of the more popular picks, it might be Executor here.
Yeah. Executor, another Gen 1 mon that is like...
Ooh,
it
yeah.
was Executor. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
My brain's like an iron trap, baby.
Mine is not. Things is leaking out.
Executor is one of those couple of mons that is not the force that it is in regular Gen 1 metagame, but is still actually pretty okay.
Yeah,
in
it's
Stadium
a psychic
Rentals.
type. How can you complain about being a psychic type in Gen 1?
You don't get Psychic Stab.
Sadly, no, not here.
but you do get, I believe you get Leech Seed and Mega Drain, which
Yes,
is like a pretty big deal.
Exeggutor has Egg Bomb, Stun Spore, Leech Seed, and Mega Drain here.
You get Stun Spore for paralysis spreading, and Egg Bomb actually, because of the nature of like stat experience and how it works, is actually a pretty okay physical threat in this metagame. It's not like great, but it will punish a physically frail Pokemon. So, plus having a high special means that like certain other very physically frail Pokemon with high specials, it matches up well into, because you can just hit it on the physical side instead while also tanking whatever damage it's putting out.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe they're waiting for the AOK to start. Oh yeah, I thought they had the.
Oh yeah, we're all
Yeah,
set.
we thought they had the AOK. That explains it.
Ah, that'll do it. Okay.
Yeah, we thought they had the AOK this whole time. Cool.
Who's that?
We just thought Ben was thinking.
All right, there we go. Yeah, okay. Our bad, folks. Our bad. We're ready to go.
A
Okay.
bit of a miscommunication, however, we're completely ready to go.
It's the
Starting
Chansey,
with the
let's
Chansey.
go.
All right. Now let's see with the Exeggutor. All right.
Okay. So these quick minimize right off the rip. Come on, please. I want to see this kind of degenerate behavior.
Ooh, let's see.
I'm here for the funny stuff, baby. Eggs is a good choice into this. The Stun Spore instead. Okay, Stun Spore actually high value. Because if you can shut down the ability to repeatedly quick minimize early, that's a big deal. It's the Fire
Opening with
Blast
the Fire
instead.
Blast.
I forgot Chansey had that.
Yeah. And considering Chansey's high special, we are going to miss.
That's tragic.
Ooh,
That's a real rough start for Ben.
Yeah, Ben is honestly already at a fairly big deficit from just that turn alone.
Because now Exeggutor can choose to stay in. You at least get one Egg Bomb. Fire Blast, I don't believe is going to one-hit KO. Egg Bomb would threaten a lot of damage, but it is going to be the swap out instead. Kingslayer saying, I'd rather not risk it. I don't need to lose this damage. Going to the Electabuzz.
All right.
Not a resist for Fire Blast,
What now?
but should take it okay. It misses again.
How will the
Twice in a row.
Now, before we get a little crazy here, Fire Blast does have a 85% chance to hit. So that is a 15% chance for each.
Twice in a row. Yeah.
That is a rough spot to be in.
Also, to compound on
each other
that,
down.
this is a no PP ups metagame, which means that's a 5
right.
PP move. That's 2 uses of it already gone. Just out. That's a lot of damage. Like, you have to start considering the amount of total damage you can do. And when you miss 2 Fire Blasts, that considerably lowers your total output.
And with an amazing read here on the switch out of the Chansey into Exeggutor, going for the Thunder Wave.
The outcome.
A second para. Exeggutor, a Pokemon that's like a little less bothered by para, but still, no one likes losing a turn. That's it's literally never good for you.
It's absolutely not great. And I do understand the switch, considering Electabuzz here is running Mega Punch, and there would not have been very much for Chansey to go off against into
Speaking
this.
of Mega Punch, gonna land the crit as well. Kingslayer is getting every piece of good RNG possible here. The Egg Bomb to retaliate, though, is gonna do a solid chunk.
Big meaty hit here, looking just above 50%.
Yeah, it's looking like it's threatening a 3-hit KO on either side, but because of the para, and I think honestly even without the para, Electabuzz should outspeed and be the winning side of this matchup. So this may be another forced switch for Ben, or Ben may just have to sack the Exeggutor early to try to get some kind of momentum back.
There, it's a hit.
Oh, that did way less that time.
yeah.
Oh, because the first one crit.
Oh,
I forgot.
right.
Oh man, I missed that already.
Now going for the Stun Spore.
But you can't paralyze an electric
No.
type.
Gotta say,
Maybe a call for a switch out?
potentially, sadly, the generations are changed a little bit, whereas more in modern games, a powder move like that would work on Electabuzz.
Yeah.
Sadly, back in Gen 1, electric types cannot be paralyzed.
What'll it do?
Yeah, one of those
Not very
tricky
effective.
situations that you gotta kind of regress your knowledge a little.
I gotta take your brain in the way back machine and think, okay, what could I do here? How did this meta work? What is the type matchups as well?
Exeggutor, though, is still, like, walling this Electabuzz pretty effectively. The crit was kind of tragic, but right now this Electabuzz actually seems pretty comfortable. Or, I mean, the Exeggutor seems pretty comfortable. Electabuzz had to go for Psychic to try to find a special drop. Couldn't find it. Is going to go for one more Mega Punch, but it's the full para.
Paralyzed on the spot.
Oh, We knew it was
That's
going
a
to happen
shame.
eventually.
Excitement is building over this
And even then,
contest.
that would have been an amazing turn for that not to happen. Well, an amazing turn for Ben there, because we could have gone for Mega Drain to try and stall it out just a little bit more. Egg Bomb just for more chip. There were a lot of options, and it just,
It ran on the way out. It was unnecessary. It changed nothing. It was just
Yeah.
there for
We're
the
waiting
disrespect.
for the
yeah,
next
the
Pokemon.
disrespectful crit of just coming in of like, yeah, you were out anyways.
All
Didn't
right.
just have to eat the hit here.
Oh, and
Here comes Aerodactyl. Now Aerodactyl will take, I believe,
How
neutral.
will the type difference
I
of
believe
that
so.
impact?
Like we said,
Thunder Punch?
the type matchups were slightly different then.
I know, and that's why that's the only reason I'm second guessing myself. But should outspeed, and I believe
It
has
should
access
outspeed-
to EQ.
Yes,
or
it
it's gonna
has.
go for Fly.
It has Fly, Supersonic, Hyper Beam, and Dragon Rage.
Oh no.
What now?
But it does get, but Fly's stab actually does, and so nothing really wants to switch into this Fly.
Absolutely
Unless
not.
you're like literally a rock type, nothing really wants to switch into this. You do get to choose who's getting hit by it. And Ben, yeah,
Ben is going to let that go. Not very effective with a crit, still just eating up that
What's
damage.
that?
another Thunder Wave.
Paralyzed. Neither one is conceding an inch.
Yeah, like we said, we didn't know that electric resisted flying then.
Yep. Yeah, so Kingslayer is still holding on with this Electabuzz here. Still trying to get value out of it. One more Thunder Wave, so you've got
There's
another
Ben
Paralyzed
coming
Mind.
down.
Really just using this Electabuzz as a paralysis spreader. But still pulling a lot of value off of it too. I mean, straight up just 1v1ing the Executor.
Yeah, it
Pretty big deal.
could probably
trainer
still
hasn't
do
issued
a
an
fair
order.
amount of damage on the Aerodactyl as well. It doesn't have that great of a special stat as well.
Yeah.
And even if it's neutral or special effective, it's going to be
What's
a
the
tough
matter,
time for
trainer?
Aerodactyl here.
Aerodactyl being paralyzed is especially tragic as well because its only real damage outputting move is going to be Fly, which means it's two chances to eat a full para before you can actually get your damage out. And the Generation 1 Fly paralysis glitch for your Pokemon becomes invincible forever. It was fixed.
Okay.
So you cannot fly, get full parried. Oh my, that one hit KO'd it. The para might not
Again,
have even been necessary.
The low special, the special effectiveness, as we saw that since the rock was not going to resist it, just putting in work here. This Electabuzz is absolutely the MVP of this match.
Yeah, this Electabuzz has been. I was skeptical about the Electabuzz. I see the error of my ways.
Yeah.
I see the strengths of this Mon in this format for sure.
Yeah, the Electabuzz clearly heard you and was like, no, I'm not going to let that disrespect slide.
For real, for real. Double Edge coming out from Tauros, though. We are finally going to see the Electabuzz dealt with.
Goodbye.
Ben's going to
Which
get that
Pokemon
first,
is coming out?
that first crucial knockout, but really needs to get a lot of work out of this considering so much of the rest of the team. I mean, Aerodactyl is effectively already KO'd.
Oh, it's
Kingslayer going into the Gengar here.
Going into the Gengar, amazing job here considering for the most part Tauros only really has like some normal stab. I'm double checking the moveset. However, this is still just a really good spot for Ben to be in with this Gengar.
Go into
Yeah.
battle post.
Yeah, his only real option here is Fire Blast.
Savage attack.
Right.
A decent
Oh,
hit.
got the burn. Not doing a lot of damage, but the burn, you know, is going to help chip away
What's this?
at Gengar. Doesn't have access to a recovery move. Thunderbolt coming back is going to do a solid chunk there, though. And again, another turn where it just feels like Kingslayer is just running away with this game more and more.
Gengar having some good utility moves here with the Confuse Ray, the Hypnosis, and of course the amazing special Thunderbolt. So it's going to be tough to try and switch something in against this Gengar.
Ben coming back to the Chansey. Oh, Confuse Ray.
Good prediction there of trying to avoid the Hypnosis by going into the status Chansey. However, we are still, you can still be both paralyzed and confused as well.
Yeah, which means your chances of getting away with clicking minimize or eventually getting a rest recovery going down even more.
Absolutely.
The likelihood that Chansey gets to do anything over the next several turns just looking pretty bleak.
We may have to switch Chansey just to get out of this confusion. But let's see. Going into Persian, Ben is trying to put in a massive offensive front here as Chansey is stuck here. Yeah, Ben's trying to close this out right now with the Persian.
Yep, the full para gonna prevent Chansey from getting any kind of damage on the switch in, and now you're gonna see exactly how much damage these stab slashes from Persian can do. I've been chalking this mon up a little bit, and you're going to see why here in a minute. This is Stadium 1's Persian.
Yeah.
Or Stadium 1's Tauros, rather. Like, this is the Tauros of Stadium 1. It's not nearly as versatile, because nothing is as versatile as Tauros in Stadium 1 compared to Gen 1 Tauros. But this is as close as you're going to get. It comes in, it clicks big moves, things die, and you have to respect it.
And Kingslayer being forced to switch out into the Gengar now. Let's see if Ben went for a Mimic. No, switching as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a huge double switch.
Yeah, the amazing call out there by Ben. Ben clearly well aware of what Kingslayer wanting to go for and just reading Kingslayer for every single turn they have.
That is your out, though. Like,
Yeah.
when you know that when Persian comes in and if Gengar is still up, that's your out, is to switch into Gengar to dodge the slash. So a pretty reliable place to find a double switch. The chance he's coming back in should take the Psychic
Should
pretty
soak
well.
that up very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No special drop either. Chansey no longer confused as well. So positionally, if anything, this actually worked out pretty okay for Ben.
This is a good spot for Ben, but so we're going to have to bring this in.
What'll it do?
Kingslayer, no more positioning games. No more nonsense. I'm clicking buttons. It's
Yeah.
going to take me a couple turns to break through it, but I am getting through this wall. The rest now coming out.
That's coming out.
This is your best chance. This is your best time.
Now this really is like the perfect chance. Since this is rest, we are going to have guaranteed sleep turns. But once we're back after soaking in all this damage from the Kadabra, we could just keep minimizing. But of course, we're just going to switch since we're just going to wall it out.
Right. Persian going to swap back in. Chansey probably just going to take a sleep turn, try to find the turn 1 wake up. No luck.
Oh, is rest changed from then? It's no
Yes,
longer the guaranteed sleep?
the guaranteed sleep, I believe, didn't happen until Gen 2 or Gen 3. In Gen 1, it's a 1 to 3 turn, but you don't act on the turn you wake up.
Oh, right, Gen 1. Yeah, coming right back in.
Gengar in again.
Now let's see if Ben is able to predict this
No,
as
Mimic!
well. Going for the Mimic!
It's Nightshade! That's going to do some solid damage. That's a... Wait.
It was going to do 50 HP each turn, considering it is always going to be... you always do the set
forgot
amount of
how many
damage
were. Yes.
that is your level.
So you now threaten the 3-hit KO because you stole Mimic, or you stole Nightshade. And I think that might be enough. Let's see how much Thunderbolt does.
No, it won't be enough.
Oh, wait. I gotta do the math in my head. 140. I think it's a roll.
That's exactly half.
I think it's a roll.
Oh, no. It's not exactly half. It's just above half by 1, so it absolutely is a roll. Now, we are going to switch, well aware that that is most likely a roll.
If you have 152 HP, that would be half. And he's got less, so it's you would need a higher roll, I believe, in the next Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt instead, regardless, you're going to swap out to the Executor to soak the Thunderbolt instead. A smart move instead of trying to do the calcs on the fly. I do like that as much as I wanted to see the double down.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, I don't mind. I'll maybe soak this up. So let's see if we could chunk this Gengar.
Right. But right now, Kingslayer really just wants to find that positioning to get Persian in and just be able to quick slash. Gengar's the only thing in the way. So even just chipping this Gengar down a little bit and making it making it like think twice about swapping in on something else
Absolutely.
is huge.
Chansey waking up finally. Since, like we said, Gen 1, your wake-up turn does count as your turn. So this might be Chansey's moment to either minimize and just soak up these Leech Seeds, or to swap right back out and be ready for the next time they're in.
Yeah, but instead, gonna go for the Fire Blast here, trying to just put an end to the Executor immediately. And that did do quite a bit. I think one more of those. Oh, but the Leech Seed, though.
Ooh.
And another thing we have to think is that if a single additional Fire Blast misses, then you can no longer deal with this Executor. All of these Fire Blasts have to hit.
Yeah,
I think it's a 2-hit or 3-hit KO. 2 from here.
I believe so, and we also have the Leech Seed as well to just give just that little bit more.
I'm factoring that in. I think even with the Leech Seed, it should be a 3-hit KO. But if you miss, that's it. That's it. Egg Bomb, gonna do some respectable damage if it lands. A solid hit.
Ooh.
Oh,
massive
respectable.
damage.
I meant to say a lot.
Yeah, that.
My bad.
That was a very good chunk.
So now you gotta ask yourself, do you go for the third Fire Blast now? Because then the problem is, you kind of have to. Because if you rest now, you can never kill this Executor or Chansey again.
Yeah, this is your moment. However, Chansey is just such a valuable resource to have
And here's
that
the threat,
might want
though.
to take that risk.
Yeah, and here's the threat, though. If you swap out, if this is Fire Blast, then Chansey can no longer deal with the Executor.
And then we'll have to find something else on our team that's
Oh,
just
what a
left.
call!
Oh!
What a call out! That was very dangerous.
Yeah.
That was very dangerous.
That was a very scary game to be playing, but that is the call out you want to be making by Ben.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the position Ben's in, there are no not scary calls.
Yeah.
But I love the double down and the preservation of the board state, keeping Chansey healthy here, because this is, you've got to play around, this is the piece you've got to play around now. This is all you have left.
Absolutely, and we're switching to Kadabra right back into the Executor,
Right.
realizing our mistake here and saying, okay, let me come back. Let me put him back out here.
Right. But now Leech Seed is still active, which means Executor gets a free turn, basically getting lefties heal.
Yeah.
But also a little chip on Chansey in the process, and that Fire Blast gets a little further
Chansey
away.
waking up, getting ready for the very next turn to potentially put some more threat on the Executor.
The full para, though. Okay, I think the Fire Blast might be a roll to kill from here.
It might be, especially with the Leech Seed that we were able to take from this Chansey,
Yeah.
especially considering Chansey's just massive HP pool.
It also needs to hit,
Yeah.
which has not happened twice so far.
Ooh, switching the
Switch out.
Executor once again.
Yeah, Kingslayer's trying to get this last Fire Blast, trying to bait it out, trying to get it out of the way, but did he get it? Let's see.
Absolutely.
He
Yes,
did!
he did bait out the Fire
no.
Blast. Oh. Kingslayer not going for the no mix-up here.
Yeah, it does get the burn, though, on the Kadabra, so not a completely lost cause. Oh my goodness, that Leech Seed is doing so much. This Chansey needs to switch out now, I think.
Yeah, I personally am a little surprised that Chansey has stayed in as long as it has with the Leech Seed, considering just how much Kingslayer has been able to use this HP recovery to their advantage, with just how big Chansey's HP pool is and it's percentage based.
Right.
It really is just an amazing spot for Kingslayer.
We're clicking dig.
Dig?
Buddy, you're burned. You're taking chip this whole time.
We're taking chip, but we do still have the Leech Seed.
How much is a Kadabra dig going to? Oh my God, the Leech Seed. Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Oh, wait.
You can't be chipped if you're Leech Seeding a
Hold on.
Chansey.
Wait. That's crazy. Okay, you have to switch.
Yeah.
But what can you switch into a dig?
We've lost the Aerodactyl. Since this is Gen 1 and abilities were introduced in Gen 3, we cannot switch into the Gengar to eat this either.
Gamers, click minimize here.
That honestly might be Ben's best chance
actually,
here.
no, because even if you get full evasion, what do you do with it? You can't.
You just sit there, really.
Yeah, you don't threaten anything is the problem.
What'll it do?
Unless you're going to just, like, continue to click rest and PP stall out, but that's just not. I don't think that's going to be it.
Going for the rest
Rest.
once again.
Quick rest.
Yeah, Ben here is just looking for the perfect opening.
Right.
But Kingslayer's playing so phenomenally here and is just not letting these openings come up.
Well, Kingslayer's just in such a dominant position,
The Pokemon chain.
knows that there's really no switch out for Ben if Psychic's being threatened, right?
Right.
He's going to swap back in the Executor one more time, which means the Executor is grabbing another chunk of Leech Seed healing. This Leech Seed healing is so tragic. At this point, I think you almost just have to switch to Sakamon. I think the correct
Yeah.
play would have been to switch in Sakamon just to get the Leech Seed healing off the table, because this has got so much progress has been erased.
Absolutely, especially considering Kingslayer only has so many Pokemon left. We're missing about half, maybe even 1/3 of our team. So this really is just a iffy spot to be in.
Yeah, this is increasingly looking more grim for Ben here. The full para coming out from Executor. I'm sorry, what am I saying?
Going for the rest
Paralyzed
still.
is what I meant to say.
Yeah, Ben is still just looking and hoping for, honestly, our Pokemon Stadium miss, really, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, so Egg Bomb's only 85% accurate, 90% accurate, something like
Okay.
that. So there's a world in which maybe you're fishing for enough misses to PP stall.
Honestly, that is a very real possibility here. That honestly is probably Ben's best option at this moment of just trying to PP stall and just hoping that we could start missing, just losing out on these amazing resources since, as we said, not a PP max meta.
Yeah, but
Or
that
finally
said,
lose the Chansey.
that dream is going to be put to rest here with Chansey off that egg bomb. Just couldn't rest fast enough this time.
Yeah, and stuck with the Tauros, Gengar, and, oh gosh, I should remember this. Persian.
Yep.
So the Persian still can put in a lot of work here for Ben, but we just need to be able to go in here.
It can, but this is one of those threats that you really want to have well positioned. It's not something you want to just kind of put on the
Throw
field
out,
and start
throw out
throwing
really
haymakers.
nilly. Especially with Exeggutor's defenses, this honestly might not be able to take it out too much. We might have to rely on the paralysis here.
Now, there's no Gengar on Kingslayer's side, from what I remember, to safely switch into this.
Right.
So you can just go for it and slam the slash and just see how much damage you do to whatever it is, but it's going to be the double switch.
All right.
What are we switching to?
Tauros, okay.
Tauros, okay. Oh my goodness. Kingslayer with another para. So Tauros now not going to outspeed either.
Sadly, no. Tauros does still have Fire Blast, so that may have been Ben's answer here for the Exeggutor,
Yeah.
of just trying to go in and get the Fire Blast. But with their paralysis and the accuracy, that's going to be a tall order.
But you have to protect your Persian from the para there, because as soon as the problem with Persian is it is a kind of a glass cannon in a lot of ways. It's why it needs to be positionally like strong.
Advantageous.
So as soon as it's para'd, a lot of the advantages of Persian fall off immediately because you can't outspeed anything. A lot of stuff threatens KOs on you that you can't threaten back. The full para is a huge...
As if karma for landing that Stun Spore on Tauros, getting fully parried themselves right afterwards.
Oh, and I forgot the Exeggutor is also paralyzed.
Yes.
Tauros is still moving first, in fact.
And the Fire Blast not taking it, going for the Mega Drain for more HP recovery.
Just trying to wall it out at this point. Because you can just, again, you can just try to wall it out, pray for a Fire Blast miss, and if
Or the
a
paralysis.
Fire Blast misses, you get yourself one more turn of Mega Drain here, which is actually enough to KO.
It is. And even then, if it does miss and you're still paralyzed, they are still losing that PP there since they weren't paralyzed that turn.
Right.
But you do have to take that risk.
One more Fire Blast. It is going to land. Is that it for Exeggutor as well? And it's
Yes.
gone. The critical,
critical
hit,
hit.
too, just to be sure. Gotta
Yeah.
be safe. Gotta, you know?
Like, this is bulky. Let's be safe here.
Yeah. Not that you get to choose, but if
Yeah.
you did. Okay, 2 burns up on the field too, Gengar and, and Persian, now there's, let's see.
Going for the
The
Jinx.
Gengar is still the problem though, is
Yeah.
the Gengar being available. Wait,
What do we want to go for here with the Jinx? I'm curious of her
I'm sorry.
massive speed.
yeah. Yes, Jinx is just very fast. And even if it wasn't for the para, I think Jinx maybe still
Yeah.
outspeeds there.
Yeah, definitely. It's just one of those things where you look at Jinx in like her little ballroom dress, where you're just like, surely she's not running at Mach speeds.
Persian comes in. Gotta be.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right, we're clicking slash, baby. It's time.
a slash or mimic in anticipation for the Gengar.
Well, Kingslayer doesn't have the Gengar. Or wait, no, Kingslayer does have the
Yeah,
Gengar.
we
I'm
do
sorry.
still have the
You're
Gengar.
Right.
It's
Oh.
just status.
And that's the problem is that you can't just go for it here.
Yeah, this is Ben's moment to turn this around. If Ben can get the mimic on the turn on the switch in of Gengar, this would be perfect. But if he could get it on the slash on the Jinx, but we are switching the
problem
Jinx.
is that I think you might take too much, even if you get the Mimic, even if you get the Nightshade.
Learning Hypnosis.
Hypnosis.
Going for a little bit of a gambit
Okay.
here, knowing that Hypnosis can still miss, but ooh, Gengar is burned.
We're gaming. Yeah, and you don't get to pick which Mimic you get. It's just
Oh.
randomly assigned. So, but if a Hypnosis lands, wait, but he's burned.
He's
He
burned.
can't
You're
be
not
stopped.
going to be able to get the Hypnosis. Predicting a
doesn't know.
switch.
Or predicting a switch, yeah, it could be. But, yeah, Thunderbolt gonna come right back. Kingslayer doubling down, not afraid, and there's nothing to be afraid of. There's no
Yeah.
reason to switch out here. Slash can't
Oh.
connect, Bubble Beam's not gonna do damage, and
Persian
he can't be slept, so
Just
he's
barely surviving.
Kingslayer recognizing there's no threat to my Gengar here. I can just click buttons.
Let's see if we... Going for the Bubble Beam, a little bit of a last-ditch effort to get some more chip towards the Gengar here. But Gengar is probably just going to retaliate back with Thunderbolt.
Yep, Thunderbolt going to come right back.
No reason not to.
There's a distinct difference in the
All right.
Kingslayer down to just their own Gengar here.
Here comes the Gengar mirror. So you're looking at a speed tie, guaranteed.
Absolutely. Now we could theoretically go for the Confuse Ray as well, maybe trying to predict a switch or just to keep Gengar alive for longer. But
I mean, Kingslayer's Gengar has done its job at this point. It no longer needs to be here.
Does it?
Wins the speed tie, throwing the Confuse Ray.
Oof. Yeah, Kingslayer's going to need a lot of good luck here if they want to make it back.
He gets it though. Thunderbolt does connect. It's not enough to kill though. Burn might kill, but still, I don't know if you can afford to take the damage it's about to be coming in.
Let's see if Kingslayer tries to predict a switch out.
I mean,
No reason to.
realistically, with this Gengar being the last tool in the field, it's over.
Yeah.
There's just no way out.
There's no real reason to try and preserve the Gengar at this point, since at this point all Kingslayer has is their own Gengar, so then Ben can come in with whatever they like.
Right. Oh, and Burn's only doing 8 damage per turn too. Ooh, I was way off.
Yeah, this may be the final turn here for Kingslayer because Ben just has to go for Nightshade.
Yeah, that's all you have left. Does get it through, wins the speed tie, so Ben is going to
Get the
stick
speed
around a
tie
little bit longer.
and the confusion, getting past that to get that. Let's see.
There's a difference in the number
All right.
of
Ben with
Pokemon.
like 4 Pokemon left.
In comes the Jinx, right? Yep.
Yep.
From Kingslayer.
Jinx's amazing speed, the Psychic to just really secure this right here and now.
Yep. This should just be a clean Psychic, finish the game up. Even Ice Beam, honestly, ought to do it. Oh, the Gengar is actually outspeeding. The Hypnosis comes out.
And getting out of confusion
It
as
gets
well.
to sleep.
This is Kingslayer's moment.
Oh,
Amazing luck there for Kingslayer.
Immediate wake up. No, turn 1. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
that's gotta sting.
But we've seen the path. There's a way. Statistically,
Yeah,
it's
we
extremely unlikely. We're throwing another Hypnosis. Does it land? No!
Oh no!
That's it. It's over.
What a shame for
Kingslayer sending the
Kingslayer.
Psychic, taking the game.
Oh my goodness.
That's yeah, right?
Yeah. Oh shoot! I was looking at
Yeah.
the wrong.
Kingslayer gonna take the game.
Amazing job there for Kingslayer.
Amazing.
Sadly,
Wow.
this is a game where RNG does exist, so tough stuff for Ben. However, amazing job there by Kingslayer. Amazing pivots, amazing predictions as well.
Huge.
Those missed fire blasts on that executive
I
changed. It set the
know.
whole tone. I was fighting with one hand behind my back the rest of the match and ran out of PP. Like
I know. It
Yeah.
was tragic. It was tragic. I was like twice in a row. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, that from the
those
rip,
Fire blasts.
the 2 missed fire blasts were just
It's one of those things where like, it's such an important resource to have.
Brutal.
They were critical in those moments as well, but
Yes.
just both missing in a row. Not our best time here.
no, not at all.
Let's
not
see, that
at
was
all.
15 or 12% chance to miss. I'm about to do the math.
I
there.
believe it's 15. I could be wrong, but yeah, just. Oh man, it's so hard to recover from that position too, because like, and statistically, you should land one of those 2 fire blasts. And if one of those fire blasts lands, I think you're fine.
Absolutely.
I think that's a very winnable like lead matchup, but when 2 miss, it's
Now
it is brutal.
I'm trying to do the math here on a 2 in a row. Now I did not do well in probability and statistics in high school.
Oh God.
So-
I took statistics in college, but I don't remember any of it, so I cannot help you there.
No, I know that's
If I wasn't on stream, I could do it, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
The-
I'm not going to attempt caster math.
the moment we go on stream any like real world knowledge is gone.
Yeah, I've done caster math before, and I understand now why we
I
don't
was
do it.
doing caster math here on the HP chunk earlier, and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that is absolutely wrong. Like that is not 50.
Listen, casters are here to talk into a microphone and be fun. We're not. We're
Yeah,
not
we're
here
here
to do
look
schoolwork.
to sound nice, look pretty. That's it.
Exactly. That's the game. That's what we're here for. You know, another fun little Pokemon for rentals is Amistar.
Oh my! I'm looking at your phone right now. I'm seeing Submission and Spike Cannon.
Yeah, but you get Hydro Pump though,
Hydro
and
Pump and Withdraw.
you get to be a Rock type, which means you've got a normal resist, which
Yeah,
is
you got to
in
resist
Gen
the
1,
amazing Persian.
big deal.
And
Yes.
especially with the submission, you could immediately just turn right back
You
around.
can actually like threaten a Persian and really give them a problem. It's kind of crazy. Amistar gets Hydro Pump for like a high power water stab, albeit with a mischance. Submission, which is the best fighting move
Yeah.
with an asterisk because all the fighting moves suck, but
Yeah.
it's something. Spike Cannon,
Spike Cannon,
like-
all right.
okay. But then you look at his brother Kabutops, and it's like
We also
surf,
have Surf,
submission, Mega
Submission.
Kick, Swords Dance.
And especially with Kabutops' higher speed, that's probably most likely what you'd want to go for. But
Well-
you're trading off. Do you want more speed and offensive pressure, or do you want more defensive pressure?
The problem is that you lose your ability to threaten very much with Water Stab because you're Surf on a not great special stat. So you're kind of looking at having to do Swords Dance and then boosting with Submission and Mega Kick. And then Mega Kick has a mischance and Submission is recoil. So like in both one of them, if you miss, then your turn doing Swords Dance setup, you're kind of screwed. And if you use the other, your Swords Dance is directly causing you to take more recoil damage too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where,
Yeah.
do you want to take that risk? It's just, even it out.
All right. I hear a lot of
Yeah.
hype going on, and I don't have the bracket up in front of me,
Yeah, a lot of discussion.
but I think I guess we're going into the later rounds now. Yeah. Oh, there's our bracket. Yeah. Let's take
Stealing
a
it. All right, so we have Darius versus Ben, and then Tony to Emily. And it looks like in loser side we have Goatly, Kingslayer, Teflon already in losers up against Adam.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's brutal out here.
Oh my goodness.
It's absolutely brutal. The competition right now is insane. Just
Especially-
insane.
Especially with, as you saw with Teflon on stream, much more knowledgeable than I am.
Yes. The Gen 1 metagame is so, especially for Stadium, like Gen 1 Stadium rentals too. Like, oh my god, there's just so many ways that it's like a weird little.
I know I personally, when I get home, I'm going to be looking more into this. This has been such a fun meta to watch and learn about as we go through. I did like a little refresher video the other day, just so I'm like, okay, let me remember the changes, because I know they used, like I said, they used Pokemon Stadium as a little bit of like a patchwork of of our matches here. So I am curious about this. I'm also very curious about Stadium 2 rental meta.
Yeah, which is one I know less about. I'll be honest. I don't know as much about the Stadium 2 rental metagame.
Especially considering just how much Gen 2, the change from Gen 1 to Gen 2 was such a massive change. You get you get Dark and Steel types. You get the special split, so now you're no longer just all like special like offenses and defenses at the same stat.
Right.
So that's one of those where I'm definitely also going to look into as well, because it's such a fun meta, and with both Stadium 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch Online, you really pick it up whenever you'd like.
Yeah. And also, if I'm not mistaken, they're also playable on Showdown.
Yes.
So, like, if you're interested in it and don't want to have to pick up Switch Online and all that, like, it is, I'm pretty sure you can just fire it up on Showdown.
And worst comes to worst, you could also use Showdown for Gen 1, Gen 2 OU.
True,
Which
yeah.
are still technically different. Like we said, completely different like calculations, mechanics, the works. But still, if you want that little bit of, who's putting Teddy Ursa emotes? I saw a Teddy Ursa emo fly through. Whoever you are, peak, best Pokemon right here. But like I was saying, it's just one of those where, like, I personally love diving into a competitive meta and learning so much about it, especially the more niche and weird it is.
Right.
Because why am I out here looking at a tier list for the Castlevania fighting game on the Nintendo 64? There's no reason for that.
It's a Castlevania fighting game?
Yeah, it was either the Nintendo 64 or like 360. And like, why am I looking into that? Oh, I don't know. But it's just one of those things where it's like, there are people out there in every competitive meta you could think of, especially like this, that are labbing things and running things. So it's one of those
Figuring
where,
stuff out.
where the longer it exists, the more innovation does exist, and the more dedicated someone will be to this.
Absolutely.
So I can't
Absolutely.
wait to dive into this a lot more later myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna be. It might be just a little bit before we've got our next
taking a
match
little bit of
lined
a
up
break.
and ready to play it up on stream. So,
Yep.
was that 5 minutes?
5-minute
Okay,
break.
okay.
All
So
right.
we'll take a quick 5, guys. Don't go anywhere. We've already had some great games. We're gonna have more when we come back. So don't
All right.
leave. Be here.
All right.
We are very lucky to be able to be here in Kensington. We just have an excellent location that we really enjoy, and being able to be specifically near like Antique Row and a lot of the historic sections of Kensington is a great honor, and we do consider a lot of the oldest Pokemon cards to be on their way to being antiques too. A lot of them are a few decades old already. Hi, my name is Ben DeGuire, and I'm co-owner of Player One Services here in Kensington, Maryland. Player One Services is a card store and grading center for Pokemon cards where people can come and play, trade, grade their cards, buy and sell cards, and in general just enjoy Pokemon.
Player One Services is like the place that I dreamed about when I was a kid. And we just wanted to make that place for kids today so that they have somewhere to come and commune with each other and enjoy a passion together. Hi, my name is Chelsea Rose, and I'm the co-owner and league owner here at Player One Services. Honestly, it started with Pokemon Go. I was super into the game. Ben was super into the game too. We played a lot in Hawaii, and it morphed into like a great community that we were a part of, being part of like the video game community. And then we branched out into cards when we found Ben's box of cards from when he was a kid.
Originally, Rose and I made a joke. We thought it would be really interesting if we could one day pay for rent with Pokemon cards. Originally, we just like to collect them, but then within just a couple weeks, through a lot of good strategic planning, we really were paying for rent with Pokemon cards, and the rest was history. Pokemon is the largest intellectual property in the world, and it spans movies, TV shows, the card game, video games, and more. Fun universe of characters and adventures that people have gone on for the last 3 decades. Learning the game is very, very easy, but mastering it is the hard part. It is a very high skill cap, and just like chess or anything else that you could play, it's definitely easy to get into, but to master it and to be at the highest levels of it is very, very hard. And you can continue to refine and master your craft as you play with different play styles and different decks. For collecting, I would say that it is a vast ocean that you can step into, and most people, I would say, to just stay tailored to the things that you like the most, whether it's collecting every version of your favorite Pokemon, collecting every card from a specific set that had a lot of significance to you, or like me, try to collect them all. We are a very tight-knit community of players, and the people that we ultimately serve are ultimately going to be the kids that are going to be playing the game years into the future. So we want to be very family-oriented, and we want people to have a good time.
Whether you know anything about Pokemon and you're interested in it, or you just saw Snorlax in the window, please come in. We want to tell you more about it. I want you to get excited about it because I'm excited about it for you. Have cards, bring them in. I want to make sure they're protected. I want to continue to expand this community. I want to continue to give people a place to come so that they can express themselves with card games, and even like the cartoons or the shows. I want to make a safe space for kids to come in and love this hobby. I don't want people to stop caring about something.
One of the best ways to contact us is at Player One Services, all spelled out at gmail.com, or directly on our website, playeroneservices.com.
start of this game, but you've
A
got
little
Teflon
bit of a
Ron
miscommunication. Teflon
versus Tony.
already losing 2 Pokemon while Tony missing 3. We're coming in right in the middle. So
All
apologies
right.
for that miscommunication there on the stream. However, we're here back and ready.
Yep. Let's see. What is the game state here?
Uh,
Got the Rhydon, and Rhydon's
yes.
an interesting choice. Kind of shafted on the moveset in Rentals, but I mean, like you just saw that, Rock Slide can still do a lot of damage if he's allowed to get it in quick moves. We had the Hitmonchan coming out on Tony's side too, a very, very interesting choice.
Teflon taking back our Rhydon.
Oh, it's Laurel.
Going right into the Lapras.
Okay, all right.
What's next?
Big Psychic coming out from Kadabra here.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Lapras, though, is a pretty specially adept Pokemon there, so
Able to tank a good amount there for Tony.
the question, though, is Kadabra should move first, can
Right.
recover. Can Lapras really threaten this out through recover? I'm not sure that it can. I think it does have access to Sing, though.
Yes, it does.
So that
It does also have access to a Body Slam for a good physical attack
crit
here.
and the special drop on the same. I mean, getting the Sing, if it lands, could still make this salvageable, but that is really
Yeah,
brutal.
that is. Lapras will be a rough mon to lose, especially in this situation.
They go into battle post.
Goodness, yep. Kadabra gonna stay asleep.
Staying asleep.
Teflon gonna leave the Kadabra in. Just go ahead and allow the sack to happen. There's really just no world in which this Kadabra's reliably waking up.
Even if it wakes up, once again, Gen 1, you have the wake up turn.
Right. So there's
So
just really
that,
no way
that
that.
Kadabra was not making it out of their life.
No, the Sing absolutely fatal. Only off by 4 HP for the
Yeah.
kill too. All right.
Yeah, 4 HP might have even been a roll.
Not even a glance at the Pokemon there before choosing a Mon, and it's going to be the Jolteon coming out from Teflon Ron.
Now with Jolteon's blistering fast speeds type advantage, this is absolutely the switch you want to go for to either secure this KO on the Lapras or take something out.
Yep, and Tony does sack it as well. There's, again, not a whole lot. This Lapras is not long
Yeah.
for this world. You're just not going to get a whole lot more value off of it.
She was able to take out the Kadabra, but that was kind of it for what we were able to see.
Worth noting as well, this is losers bracket.
Yeah.
So this is a fight for bracket life here. It's do or die.
Going into the Rhydon to soak up any damage from the Jolteon. Jolteon only other offensive moves really being Pin Missile and Toxic. So trying to force a switch here, or maybe even tempting to get the Toxic from the Jolteon. we
You
are
can't
gonna
toxic.
switch
I
it.
believe you can't toxic rock types even in Gen 1. So the
Oh,
toxic's
really?
still off the table. Articuno going to come in instead. That is kind of risky
That
there.
is
Because if it had been the rock slide, that Articuno just dies. But it is going to be the dig, so this Articuno is now
The
perfectly
Rhydon actually
positioned.
doesn't have Rock Slide.
You
It has
actually get the
no
quick
rock stab.
substitute here. Or wait, it doesn't have. What did it use? Oh, it's strength that it used to turn.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
What's this?
Ooh,
This-
that
oh, goodness.
amazing job there for Teflon.
And now Teflon set up with the Articuno with the sub, which means you can just freely start throwing ice beams and making progress on anything you want. That is dangerous.
Yeah, this is an amazing setup here for Ron. There wasn't much else that Rhydon can do, especially in that dig situation.
Yeah.
There's a difference in the number of reserve Pokemon.
So that means Tony's going to lose one more Mon here as well. Switching in a Snorlax that is already very, very damaged. I don't think that one's going to survive through another Ice Beam either, and this substitute
it does
is
have
still
rest, though.
going.
Rest is probably our only option here to try and stay in the game. And going for the Razor Wind to try and just secure with the physical attack here on Snorlax.
No. That's a two-turn move.
Yeah.
That's not Razor Wind.
It gave Tony... Yeah, Razor Wind's 2-turn.
No, that's Sky Attack. Wait.
Razor
what
Wind
the
is 2-turn.
What is Razor Wind? I thought Razor Wind was like a boosting move. What on earth is that?
It's also a 2-turn move.
No way. I didn't even know that move existed. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen that move before in my life.
Well, now... See, you got to learn something. I knew about Razor Wind.
Why did the Sky Attack
Because
do the
Sky
stab
Attack
there,
is
though?
cloaking in a bright... Yeah, it's glowing.
There
That's
it
Sky
is.
Attack.
That's what I wanted to see. Okay.
Whereas
Yeah.
Razor Wind is whipping up, like, wind or something like that.
This should do significantly more as well.
Now Snorlax being able to wake up. However, will this be enough here?
Big damage. Let's see it. No
Missing!
way! What's the miss chance on that?
For Sky Attack, let's see, is 90%, a 10% chance to miss.
It's a 2-turn move and a 90% chance to miss.
That is that is a amazing amount of luck there for Tony, knocking out the substitute from the Articuno. Teflon is probably going to have to think really hard about what he wants to do here.
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted.
Going for the freeze. Now, did they fix freeze in Stadium?
Oh, the Ice Beam did a lot of damage. We should have been. What were we messing around with Razor Wind for? Do you see how much Ice Beam just did? Rock Slide, though, that's bad. That does kill.
We're losing that Articuno
The
right
crit,
here,
I don't even know
right
if
now.
the crit was necessary.
Yeah.
That's just it. That's Articuno gone. Teflon.
Is this going to be a Snorlax sweep here of the Gengar and the final Pokemon for Teflon?
Gengar comes in, though. Is threatened by the Rock Slide, but should get to move first. Hypnosis could come out, so getting the sleep one more time could be huge.
Going for Nightshade.
That is a 2-turn KO.
It is, but most likely Teflon is going to be going for... Okay.
Oh, no.
No need for the rest. If we could just take out this Gengar.
Oh, but it does survive.
Oh, no. Guaranteed by Teflon here if they go for the Nightshade, and it...
Yeah, Nightshade absolutely.
Probably should have gone for the rest there. It would have been such an amazing job if the Rock Slide was just able to take it out.
Wow, yeah, and that's going to be Teflon taking the game. We missed a good chunk of it. Our apologies for that, but we got there just in time to catch the finisher, and Teflon making those crucial endgame plays. Oh, yeah, our camera's a little...
Yeah, we got knocked over earlier.
There we are.
So, like we said, we had some stream miscommunications.
Not a problem, not a problem. Yeah, wow, what a game.
Yeah,
what a game.
Even if we had to come in midway through, still, for what we saw, there were a lot of good reads, a lot of good plays. And once again, as Pokemon is known to be a lot of RNG, especially with a lot of these moves that the rental Pokemon have, of just like there's like 90%, 85%, and it's just one of those things where you do have to play into that luck sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just have to be factoring that in and thinking about that. Thinking about like, okay, but where does this end up if I do get unlucky here?
Yeah.
And playing around, trying to minimize the impact on luck on your game as much as possible. But in these older gens, it is unfortunate. It is a fact of life. Even if you play around it as much as you can, it's just going to happen.
It's just one of those things that you just kind of have to live with and work with. But I always joke that luck is a skill. So if you don't have that skill, better get it. So.
Yep. It is crucial. Gotta know when to go for what and when to lean into the luck. Sometimes you just gotta know when to lean into it.
Yeah, like that last turn there, we probably should have leaned into the sleep luck there and going for a rest, since that would have been a 4-turn KO on Snorlax. So that could have been very doable there for the Snorlax to just stay on the field and just knock out whatever was left, since there were only 2 Pokemon left and they were still fairly chunked. So that was still very, very possible.
Yeah, and that was a close game too. I mean, it was only Teflon Ron only squeaking out with the Gengar barely alive, and the Jolteon being, in the back. But that's a pretty close game by a lot of standards. Closer than quite a few of the games we've seen on stream so far.
So it's one of those things where you just sort of have to like take what you have, take what you know, and just consolidate, and you got to think and like do mental calls, like we saw with that Rock Slide at the end.
Right.
It just wasn't enough. We probably just did the math on that just a little wrong and just missed out on the KO.
Yep. And I think we'll be waiting just a little bit. We'll wait for our next match to get up here on stream. So while we're hanging out, I just want to kind of talk about the event a little bit here. Baltimore PokeCon, our Generation 3, so to speak, our number 3.
Yeah.
This is my first time out at the event, but I gotta say, it's been pretty wild. It's been really cool how well this is put together. There's been a lot of really cool events. There's been a lot of really cool cosplays. The merch room's incredible. Especially if you're into the TCG, there's been so much TCG stuff around.
I don't play that much. I know how to play. I have like a little personal deck to play with friends, but I'm a big collector. And I really was going through looking at all those secret arts, rare arts that the vendors are selling, and just thinking, ooh, this is pretty.
Right, right. Yeah, there's just so much out there, and it's been great, man. There's been people, my age, old school Generation 1, from the get-go kind of people out here enjoying themselves. It's been everyone down to, younger kids hanging out, having a good time, enjoying. We're all Pokemon fans.
Every
here.
generation of Pokemon fans here celebrating.
Yeah.
And
We're
just
all Pokemon fans at the end of the day. We may have jumped on board at different times, different parts of our lives, but we're all in the same boat now.
Like, I jumped in with Gen 3, and I jumped into PokeCon for PokeCon 3, so
Yeah.
felt like a nice little even mesh for me.
Right, right. Yeah. It has been just absolutely, absolutely incredible. I'm also it's kind of like my brain's breaking a little bit because
Yeah.
I've started looking around the room and realizing my face is on every screen.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
room, and it's
I mean, you're in no shortage of a mirror then at that point.
It's true. I'm looking for somewhere where I'm not seeing myself actually.
There's
kinda
one screen
crazy.
there that says no signal.
Yeah, and if you're at the event, catch me after Pokemon Stadium. Catch these hands in Pokemon Puzzle League.
Oh, I will take you out in Pokemon.
Because I've recently discovered that I am pretty okay at Pokemon Puzzle League.
Okay.
I'm undefeated right now, but I'm pretty sure everyone else I played also doesn't play the game. So I'm sure that anyone who actually plays the game is going to destroy me. No doubt about it. But
I wouldn't say I'm crazy good. I'm always out here grinding the Puzzle League, the Penaltopons, all those little reskins. But I do like to play them casually. I remember when they did the Animal Crossing New Leaf update that added that as a little mini game. I would just play that sometimes, and I would just go crazy, just trying to get the highest score. It's it's the Animal Crossing one. It's not that serious.
Right.
They
right.
added this just as a silly little haha, but I just needed a bigger score each and every time.
Right. Yep. I feel that. I was never a puzzle gamer.
Really?
I don't know. I just started playing it the other day because I was waiting for. I had time to kill before my commentary block for VGC yesterday, and I was like, Pokemon Puzzle League, why not? I'll give it a shot. And I was like, oh, I'm actually I see how to make combos and things happen.
Yeah,
And that's kind of crazy.
I always compare it to your third eye just snapping wide open when you completely understand how a puzzle game works.
Right.
Where you're just I understand. I know what I'm doing, and you're already 10 turns ahead.
Right.
So, I'm one of those people. I do like puzzle games. I wouldn't say I'm the most puzzle-centric person, but they're fun.
Yeah.
That's what we need next PokeCon. I want the Puzzle League tournament. Catch me in the Puzzle League tournament.
That would be pretty rad. All right, and we are gonna go to another 5-minute break, so don't go anywhere.
Yes. We'll make sure to keep in mind to make sure that no matches are starting for next time.
Yeah, we'll be back. We will catch the whole match on this next one coming up, so don't go anywhere.
We learned from our lesson, so don't worry there.
All right, we'll be back in a bit.
All right.
All right. Hey, welcome back, folks, to Baltimore Pokemon Stadium Rentals Only Tournament. I am, once again, Consort Gaming, still joined here by...
The Luminary and Teddy Ursa.
Yeah, we're having a great time so far. Competition has been super fierce. We're looking forward to another really solid game coming up very soon. Before we do, though, I want to talk about, this event has been really cool, really great. We were just talking about it a little bit before the break as well, just how, like, the sense of community there's been and the wide age range. But I want to talk a little bit about the people who make it possible, too.
Absolutely.
One of our...
have it without them.
Yeah, one of our sponsors, Level Up Games in Glen Burnie, Maryland, specializes in trading card games with an expansive inventory of sealed TCG products, including Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Disney Lorcana, and more. They've got weekly events going on. They're always buying cards, so if you're into anything TCG at all, check out Level Up Games in Glen Burnie, please. You will not regret it.
Looks like we are going right into our match here with our next two competitors. We are in the... We keep bumping.
It's it's a rough and tumble kind of setup, man. We are out here in the wilds, we are out here.
Tilted, hopefully.
We are in the thick. You guys can't really see if you're at home, but
Yeah.
we are like basically in the middle of the event. Like there's stuff this way, there's stuff that way, there's stuff in these directions. It's everywhere,
Our
everything,
only
all the
really
time.
here is like this wall, and even then it's just a curtain. So
Yeah.
people are still going through the curtain.
Yeah, that's why sometimes we're like, did they hear us? Because we were like, if we pop off on commentary
Yeah.
too much, and we're talking about like the insider strats, we're like, oh no, they didn't hear us. I'm pretty sure we're noise insulated well enough over there. But yeah, let's take a look here. So I'm not. Do we know whose match we got up next? We can see the Pokemon
That
here.
is a good question. I would also love to know what match this is.
It's, if I had to guess, it's looking like Ben's
who?
team with the yeah.
Who?
Ben versus Tony.
Ben versus Tony, all right, for quarterfinals.
I was gonna say that did look like Ben's team with the Electabuzz coming out with the paralysis spreading. So okay, here we go.
Champions of tomorrow
And
have
opening
begun
up with the
their
Gengar
super
here and the Jolteon.
Yep. So Gengar coming out first from Ben, Jolteon from Tony here. Now let's see, a pretty reasonable lead matchup. I think Jolteon might be the one threatening here. This is actually one where I'm not 100% sure of the calcs, I'll be honest with you.
Jolteon is going to be the faster one. However, Gengar still does have a really good special stat, but there is still the chance of getting paralyzed by that Thunderbolt.
Right. That also, there's always the threat of the sleep. Gengar could always choose to lean into that hypnosis as well. Gengar should survive, even if it does lose the overall 1v1. It should survive long enough to click multiple hypnosises, could potentially put the Jolteon to sleep and then win the matchup that way. So there's a lot to consider here, and I think that's why you're seeing both Ben and Tony really taking their time, thinking what do they want to do, because this really could lean either direction. There's a lot of nuance on this lead matchup.
Especially since, honestly, like, with your lead, that is your first major decision of the game. So that's one of those things where you need to figure out, okay, what did they want to go for? What is the plan? And we are going to see the switch out of the Jolteon.
Going into the Slowbro.
Knowing Gengar does have Thunderbolt to potentially be a threat to it, or he's probably not going to click Thunderbolt into the Jolteon.
Yeah, now Ben, though, does go for the Hypnosis there and lands it, so the Slowbro comes in and would be something that would check the Gengar pretty reliably, but being asleep makes that a little bit sketchier. We are going to switch out. Now, remember, this is Stadium 1. There is Sleep Clause. Now that a Pokemon is asleep, nothing else can be slept, and it's going to be the Jolteon coming right back in to eat the Thunderbolt.
So, wait, I thought this was unrestricted, so we don't have the Sleep Clause.
No, we do. We should still, even with unrestricted, the Sleep Clause should still be in effect, to my understanding. So that means that sleep is now off the table, and that winning matchup, I believe winning matchup, don't 100% quote me on that, from Jolteon into Gengar here. Now that sleep is off the table as a way for Gengar to cheese that out, it's going to have to be the Confuse Ray instead. So again, on paper, Jolteon wins this. But when you start factoring for Confuse, for sleep, it's a little sketchier.
Yeah. And we are going to work past that confusion and get the Thunderbolt. So this next move will most likely take the Gengar out.
What'll it do?
Yes, going for the Nightshade from Gengar here.
There,
threatening a KO in 3 hits as long as nothing happens.
2 since it's Nightshade.
Yeah, and it's not going to get through. Oh, I'm sorry, 2. You're right. I can't do math.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
doing caster math again, and I'm.
I was doing caster math earlier, but this was easy caster math.
Yeah, this is the worst caster math so far. But it is going to be Gengar switching out because if that Confuse doesn't stop Jolteon in its tracks, then the Gengar is just dead. So Electabuzz coming out instead.
And predicting the switch, but let's see, was it a... Okay, going into the Clefable.
Okay, all right. So Electabuzz into the Clefable.
Now,
2 fresh Mons on the field.
Clefable is a very versatile Mon with access to Sing, Ice Beam, Tri-Attack, and Minimize. So Tony may be trying to go for Minimize strats here, or maybe just trying to go into something bulky and more generic to see what Ben wants to go for.
Yes. Now we have seen this Electabuzz from Ben previously.
Yes.
We have seen the amount of paralysis spreading that it can do. So that is always a threat. It's going to be a swap from Tony into the Nidoqueen instead to avoid being paralyzed. Thunderwave is not going to land on a ground-type Pokemon.
An amazing swap into Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen does have access to Earthquake, so that is a very powerful ground-type stab move for Tony to have. So Ben really needs to think here on what he might want to swap. I can't tell if that's a flying type for the last one, so this may be a tough spot for the Electabuzz.
I don't recall seeing a flying type on the team preview. There's not a lot of great flying types, period, with the exception of like Zapdos, for example.
Well aware that Electabuzz is faster and going right for the Psychic getting the crit. But surviving on just 2 HP
It's alive!
to immediately go for the Earthquake and take out this Electabuzz.
Oh no! That's incredible.
That Psychic must have just been a damage roll. Amazing spot there for Tony to be in to keep this Nidoqueen and immediately take out this Electabuzz that as we saw earlier, was putting in so much work for Ben earlier in the stream.
That crit could have been a tragedy for Tony, because losing the Nidoqueen there for essentially free would have just been awful for momentum, but hanging on by 2 HP, you at least get the trade, and now the revenge kill is probably coming through.
We could also try and swap into something else, maybe the Persian expecting a Nightshade.
Oh, we're going to swap. We're going to preserve the 2
correct?
HP on the Nidoqueen.
Going into the Fable! Same idea. I was mostly correct.
You had the right idea. Ben does go for the Nightshade as a reliable mid-ground. It would have KO'd the Nidoqueen anyways, and now you get a solid
does hit
chunk.
normal types. Okay, that's good to know. And for those of you who may be on the younger side, Fairy type was introduced in Gen 6. So before that, many Fairy types were originally just normal types.
Yes, yeah, and Nightshade, yeah, a weird quirk of the earlier games, the set damage moves for a couple of the early gens ignored type immunities because they also ignored resistances. I think that eventually changed. I could not tell you what gen it's in.
And going for the Ice Beam and just barely missing, looking once again just like it was Tony's turn to get just the bare miss here.
Yeah, these Nightshades doing a lot of damage, but we did see Ben with the Persian in the back.
Yes.
We've talked about this dynamic previously where Gengar is kind of your go-to check for Persian, and once it's out of the way, there's not a lot stopping Persian from coming in and just threatening big damage on everything. And now, Ben's got to play without... I'm sorry, that was Ben with the Persian.
Yeah.
Did Tony have the Persian in the back too? Did we see the double Persian?
It's Pokemon Stadium Rentals. I'd hope there's a Persian in there.
I would hope so. But it's not like a necessary pick. It's not like something you have to have. It is
But
just very, very
it's
good.
It's nice to have. It's one of those where it's all reliable. But now you're team building, you're like, I might as well throw it in. I can't think of a 6.
I'm going to guess there must not be if Ben's willing to risk the game, because the switch out there was still an option.
And going into the Jinx being our other option, so there really was no safe Earthquake swap for the Electabuzz.
Right. So Jinx coming in, going to take the revenge KO with the Ice Punch. So we really are just going Mon for Mon right now.
Yeah, this is a very offensive and volatile matchup, really. We're just taking turns throwing blows at each other.
Yep, just...
Going for the Dugong.
Okay, yeah, just knocking each other down one Mon at a time. The Dugong coming in.
Dugong with the Aurora Beam and Surf having 2 fairly reliable stab moves, though they might not be very powerful. But we also have Headbutt and Rest.
Yeah, and the Headbutt's going to be what you're going to be looking to hit here with, because Jinx is pretty physically frail. But how does it take a Psychic? That's the thing. Can Dugong really stand up to this? Okay.
It does a fairly good special stat on the Dugong, able to eat that up and going for the surf.
Let's see it.
That's not that much. Considering it was neutral, but Jinx still does have that massively good special stat, so she was able to eat that up very well.
I think this is a 3-hit KO on either side with the Jinx outspeeding. That means that the Jinx is going to be beating to the punch here as far as getting the KO.
Absolutely. Then Tony might have to consider swapping out the Dugong here if we want to preserve it, or just going for a rest next turn and praying it's a roll.
Yeah, or the crit.
Ooh.
That could also
Or we
be an
just-
out.
Once again, another crit there.
Does he know?
I don't
Does
know.
he know? Like,
He just like, all right, I just know when the crit's coming.
right. Well, I mean, the crit happened to him last time when
Right.
the Nidoqueen stuck around by 2 HP. But I mean, wow. Okay. This is a very different situation than we were expecting here. Ben taking a minute to think, wasn't
Half
prepared
of
for
our
that.
team gone from all these.
There's the Persian. Here comes the cat.
Yeah. Going into the Persian, saying, "This is my moment. It's a free switch in. This is my moment to just do big, fat damage on as much as I can." And swapping, most likely into the Gengar here. Yeah.
And it is the swap into the Gengar, your classical answer to the Persian. So yeah, the Gengar in the back, ready to deal with that. This is that threat that you've got to get rid of if you want to get your Persian out.
Very clearly going for a swap here on the Persian, but let's see what Tony's going for with the Gengar.
Yeah, Gengar gets to click anything it wants here for free.
And the Exeggutor. The Exeggutor, as we've seen, has been doing a massive amount of work for so many different trainers here, especially for these bulky Mons.
Yes, Exeggutor also a very good check for Gengar. It takes 4 hits from Nightshade to KO. Takes, as you've seen, very, very, very little from Thunderbolt. Just a very reliable wall. But of course, there's always the threat of that sleep coming out from Gengar. That's always a problem that you have to kind of account for. But, wait, is the Jolteon still asleep in the back?
I believe so.
So then the sleep is not an option.
Yeah, we still have the Jolteon in the back. Or
And-
hence why we are going for the Confuse Ray here.
Confuse Ray instead. You have to rely on the Confuse strats here. It's your only way out. Otherwise, the Psychic or even getting Stun Spored is pretty tragic.
It's quite possible Exeggutor might be able to outspeed. Exeggutor is a slower Mon, but considering that being paralyzed halves your speed, this might be a good spot for Exeggutor here.
Oh, the Leech Seed.
We're going to attack ourselves. Sadly, we're not going to get the Leech Seed set up, so we could just start tanking moves.
So there is some nuance here as well, where with the paralysis on Gengar, the 1v1 of Persian potentially getting a Mimic and being able to fight the Gengar back becomes possible. If you get Confuse Ray and just rely on Confuse Parastrats, or you get Nightshade, you can just straight up win the 1v1 if I'm not mistaken, which again solves your I can't bring Persian in problem that has been plaguing Persians all day today.
And Ben finally able to land the Leech Seed on something, so we could start doing a little bit of stalling, a little bit of survival here, so we could just try and chip off these opposing Pokemon.
And did you know that in Gen 1, when you Leech Seed, you don't get the health back the first turn?
I learned that now.
Yeah, me too, actually. That's one I didn't know. That's crazy.
That is one of those things that honestly would have thrown me off.
I was like waiting for the drain. I'm like, how much is this bringing back? And it's like, oh, nothing
Yeah.
right now. Nothing at all.
And going for the Pin Missile for the quad effective move onto this Exeggutor, but still not taking it since Pin Missile is not that strong of a move.
Yeah, Pin Missile did respectable damage, but just not enough. And now between the Mega Drain and the Leech Seed, I think that the Pin Missile can still KO from here, but it's going to be
I would
close.
hope so. And it may just depend on how many Pin Missiles hit. And it is going to hit and take out this Exeggutor.
Wow, so Exeggutor also off the table now for Ben. Ben is
down to his last 2 Pokemon.
running out of options here, and the problem is that one of them in the back is that Persian, and we still have to deal with this Gengar.
Absolutely. Ben may just have to go for the Mimic here and pray.
It feels like Tony's in a pretty comfortable spot here, but like we just talked about, the 1v1 Gengar and Persian potential is there, and if that's out of the way, a lot of the rest of Tony's team is very damaged, and it could just be a sweep from there.
Honestly, at this point, if I were Tony, I may be just sacking off the Jolteon in an attempt to either chip down the Persian or have a free switch in for the Gengar.
I'm actually not sure who's faster, though, and if you can get the Thunder Wave, could be a big deal.
Switching the Persian into the Kadabra, potentially in anticipation for whatever Tony wants to go for. Most likely the swap of a Gengar in his mind.
No.
But we are just going to go for the Thunderbolt. And getting the Paralyze.
And the Para, that's
my
tragic.
goodness.
Leech Seed is going to help make that a little bit less painful, but now you're paralyzed for the rest of the game. Even if you get this Jolteon out of the way, I don't think this Kadabra is long for this world. There's just not a lot of value you're going to get out of this Pokemon anymore.
Going for the Pin Missile as well. Now, as we saw with the Exeggutor, it didn't do all that much damage, but Kadabra does not have as much physical defenses, so it is going to do a lot of chip there.
The Psychic does come out, so we do get the Jolteon down as well.
Is it down and out?
Still, this is looking pretty grim. Pretty grim for Ben here.
Really a rough spot. Now, Tony could go for Gengar in anticipation. Going for the Needle Queen. Considering she's already low, I do understand the swap of maybe if my attacks don't work, I could survive. If we switch in the Persian, we could do a massive amount of damage with the Stab Earthquake. It makes sense here.
Right. Well, you outspeed the Kadabra, so if the Kadabra does not switch, you're guaranteed getting the KO. And it's going to be the switch. That's very interesting.
Absolutely. Probably going to get a nice, healthy chunk here on the Persian with it as well.
Yeah, I just don't see. There just may not be really a way out. Oh,
with
and the
crit, we losing the Persian. Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh, what a rough spot for Ben. This really is just, honestly, Tony won.
That has sealed it. Yeah, Tony's going to take the game there. It was pretty back and forth, Amon for Amon, through the whole early game, but Tony just started to pull ahead very early, just made some very intelligent switches, played around the wind conditions that Ben brought to the table, and Ben unfortunately let their own Gengar get sacked early, and that really kind of came back to bite them.
And Ben also, to their credit, did have a lot of bad RNG in their favor. We did get the paralysis on the Kadabras, cutting its speed. We did get a lot of crits in on very important Pokemon, like that Gengar. So it's one of those where it sadly does happen, but even then, when you take the RNG into account, that really was just Tony's game to win.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very intelligent positioning, very well thought out swaps. Love to see that kind of gameplay. So yeah, Tony will be moving on to the next round.
Losers, where it is double elimination. So Tony does still, Ben does still have a chance to make it into finals.
Yes, Ben still gets a chance to make the losers bracket run. I love those double elimination tournaments. You always get that second chance, just in case something just doesn't quite go your way, you know. But
it does happen, but that's why it's double elimination. You get the second chance to redeem yourself here and say, no, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. Sometimes just bad luck, vibes, something happens. We get through it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, we should have our next matchup in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere. But man, we've seen the dynamic of the day definitely does seem to be the positioning between Gengar and Persian. I think the majority, a large chunk of our matches have had both the Gengar and the Persian. And I keep talking about how much Persian can do, and chat just kind of has to believe me, because we haven't seen one come out and do a whole lot, but it's because
everyone's so aware of what they can do that they are playing around it to the best of their abilities.
Yes, nobody wants to let this thing come out and actually do the things that it does. So everyone is bringing a backup plan, an anti-Persian Pokemon ready to go to shut that down.
And even then, they're bringing anti-Persian, anti-Persian Pokemon
right.
as well with the Exeggutor. So like they're aware, like, okay, I need Persian on the board. They're probably odds are high they'll probably have a Gengar. Let me add Exeggutor.
Yeah. Though I will say, like, out of some of the Mons that we've seen today, one that surprised me that we haven't seen is we have not seen a lot of Zapdos.
No, we did see the Articuno, and the Articuno was putting in some really good work in the match we saw just earlier. But we haven't seen Zapdos. Zapdos is a very common pick, a very powerful pick at that, with the Thunderbolt, Sky Attack, and Thunder Wave. And even then, also with access to Flash, if you did want to go for that accuracy and just hope, like we said, just get a bunch of accuracy drops, then minimize with the Chansey, stuff like that. Zapdos is just very versatile, and it does just have very powerful stat to work with.
Yes, yeah, and one of the few usable flying type stabs in the Rentals metagame.
Yeah.
Now Zapdos is one of the ones that loses out when it comes to the rebalancing, so to speak,
Yeah.
of higher BST Mons getting less stat experience to kind of squash the stats in a little bit and make it a little bit more, more of a roster of Pokemon usable.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get as much stat experience because it's just got good stats to begin with. So statistically, it's still very good.
They're keeping it as even as possible, but there's only so much you can really do.
Yes, and then having electric and flying stab on the same mon as well is very threatening across a pretty good chunk of the metagame. I mean, flying type stab lets you deal with stuff like Executor. It'll let you do pretty good damage into anything that's physically frail because it's coming off on
Like a Chansey,
the
if you could
physical
predict a
side.
Chansey switch.
Right. Thunderbolt lets you threaten all of the water types. It lets you threaten any other flyers that might be coming in. A lot of really cool options there. So it has been interesting to me that we haven't seen them yet. Slowbro, seeing Slowbro earlier, very cool, very good pick.
Briefly see Slowbro, wasn't very long for this world, but as a big Slowbro enjoyer, I love that Slowbro is very useful. He's physically bulky. He has a good special stat. He's a water type, which is all you can ask for. He's a psychic type, which is also all you can ask for.
Right.
So he has everything in his corner for him to be useful.
Also a very effective sleep soaker. A lot of the mons that are like high special attack, he kind of walls out.
Yeah.
And so if he switches in, their only real answer is to either switch and start playing the positioning game, look for some kind of answer to Slowbro, in which case you really don't want to switch something like Jolteon into Slowbro. You're going to take a lot of damage off the rip that way. But is also, because of the bulk, is kind of okay with being the mon on your team that's going to eat sleep, because there's a pretty good chance that a Slowbro is going to eventually wake up, so you can let it eat sleep early in the game, swap it out, keep it in the back as preserving your sleep claws, so that you're no longer worried about that sleep threat. And we've seen that even in just that last game, we saw a mon be put to sleep just to be instantly switched to the back to then reset up the same situation that led to that sleep, so that Gengar couldn't get out of a bad matchup with Hypnosis again, had to lean into the Confuse Ray as well. That's the kind of games you have to play in the Stadium 1 Rentals metagame.
Absolutely. This has been a meta that I've really enjoyed watching so far. I've learned a lot so far. I'm sure there's going to be more to learn. But it's been really easy to soak in and digest this information. This hasn't been that hard to learn and digest about. So if you at home are also interested, we're probably going to run this next PokeCon. So get into it. Look into your local Pokemon Stadium rental communities as well. Whatever you like.
Yeah, and while there is a bunch of weirdness you have to learn when you're talking Gen 1 and Stadium 1 in general, as far as knowing what Sleep Clause is for Stadium 1, knowing how critical hits function in these earlier games, things like that. That can be a little intimidating, but if team building is the thing that usually turns you off of playing Pokemon competitively, Rentals Stadium is exactly where you want to be, because the team building process is so simplified. You don't have to worry about okay, here's the mon I want to use, and I got to figure out the 4 moves for it. And the mons are there; they have the moves on them already. Their stats are already locked in. You don't have to think about EVs, IVs, yada yada yada. You have a very limited set to pick from, which can actually be very freeing as far as just I don't want to have to learn a bunch of stuff. I just want to pick a couple of guys and get in and start clicking buttons and learn the game.
And it's one of those things where you hear about, hey Hey, friends.
We are in the tiny screen now. Hello.
A little
Hey.
bit of-
Oh,
no,
we
wait.
were back.
We're doing a little bit of a behind the scenes here on just how the stream setup works. We have the preview, so we can see what the preview looks like.
There we go.
There we
Okay,
go,
I
we're back.
believe we're back.
You're
That's
fine.
all good. It's all
You're
good.
completely fine. However, where was I? Oh, it's like one of those things where you talk to people who went to schools where they had to wear a uniform every day. They're like, a lot of them are like, oh, I hated it. I didn't like I couldn't be as creative. But I knew a lot of people who were like, I loved it. I didn't have to think about what I was wearing for the day. I just had to put it on and go.
As an ADHD individual myself, 90% of days I have like a selection of like kind of pre-selected outfits that are just like a button down and jeans.
Of course.
It's where I'm like, I don't want to have to think about what I'm wearing today because it will derail my entire day.
Pre-selected.
Like, yeah, I need, and then on the days like I want to go out and I really want to like look nice and like stuff, then I'll put a little more thought in my outfit. I might wear something a little more like this to get the earrings going and all that kind of stuff. But like you don't underestimate the power of simplicity. Like it feels like it doesn't take a lot of brain power to make simple decisions like what am I wearing today? But it actually really does.
It's one of those things where it's just like when you're waking up in the morning, you didn't get a lot of sleep. You're thinking like you're dreading the day and you're like, I have to make a decision this early.
Right. Well, it's like if you ever do meal prep, if you ever do like meal prep for a week, you don't realize how much mental energy goes into deciding what you're having for lunch, for example, until you don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh,
like,
the food's just there and I don't have to think about it.
Cool.
And you're like, this put a lot of time back into my day all of a sudden. You can apply that to Pokemon by playing Stadium Rentals.
Stadium Rentals is your pre-made food. It is your work/school uniform. It's just the simplicity of, let me choose something ready, easy made, and learn with it.
Right. I can feel us getting further and further away from the
little
topic
bit.
we were at. I had to rein it back in. I had to
that-
pull us, steer us back to the right direction. You can't see me doing the steering
Yeah.
wheel over there.
We
You
gotta
know what I mean.
Reel it back in.
Yeah. You know. Like you get to the super rod.
Yeah. Reeling in these amazing water types like Dugong and Lapras, as we've seen.
Yeah. You know, Lapras kind of crazy.
Yeah, Lapras had a really good moveset.
Yeah. Lapras actually.
Yeah, Lapras with access to Ice Beam, saying Body Slam, and Solar Beam. Solar Beam, a little bit of a off pick. However, if you could predict a switch in of another water type, or even something not specially bulky, it could be a good game changer there.
Right. Yeah, there was I was surprised by just how like the longevity of it. It definitely seemed like it was sticking around for quite a while. You know who I kind of want to see, and I have no idea if it's actually good in Rentals Metal Game or not, but I just want to see it anyways. I want to see Kingler. I think Kingler would be very funny.
I know.
Crabhammer is a funny move.
Yeah, it's like we said. Oh wow. Okay, I just pulled it up. We have Crabhammer, Substitute, Stomp, and the creme de la creme for me, Guillotine.
Yeah. So another wacky Gen 1 thing.
Did they change
Guillotine does not work if the other guy's faster than you.
That I knew. It's something I forgot, but the moment you said it, it like came right back to the front of my head. Like, right, that is a thing.
Yeah, and I don't think Kingler is like especially fast.
No,
So it would
it's
kind
not.
of-
It's
but-
more known for its offenses.
You would have a very funny one-click goodbye Executor, who is probably going to be one of your more common switch-ins.
Executor, any other slow Pokemon that we might see. Chansey's not exactly the fastest. as well. Snorlax would be a huge pick as well.
I don't even think you need the Guillotine on Chansey, though, because you could just probably just Crabhammer. No, Crabhammer's
Crab-
coming from the special side
Yeah,
because it's Gen
Gen
1.
1.
I forgot. Oh, my God.
Now, once again, for people who may not know at home, before Gen 4, all moves were decided if they were physical or special based on their typing. So, water type moves, grass type moves, those would all be special, even if it's like Crabhammer, where it's very clearly like you're hitting them physically. Those would still be special. If you want a trick to remember that, it is always going to be EV type evolutions plus dragon types are going to be special attacks.
Yes. Yeah, it does not matter that Crabhammer is hitting them with a crab and or a hammer.
Yeah.
It is still a special attack in Gens 1 through 3 because it is water type.
Yep, so that is something to keep in mind, as I don't think we've seen any moves so far where they were clearly like became physical later on, but it is something to keep in mind as well for those of you who may not have known it.
Yep. Gen 1's a very... It's really funny
that was how it was until Gen 4, to be fair.
I feel like more modern Pokemon fans, too, like,
Oh, yeah.
don't really get the experience of it as much, where it's like, this was so weird.
It's
And like nowadays, it's like there's so much variability, which makes a lot of Pokemon more usable, right? But back then, like back in the day, and it was like every game that came out, there was like a major setting, like a major like rules change. A change to the way stats worked, or like Gen 2 like threw 2 more types into the game, and then Gen 3
added abilities, weather, double battles,
split the special stat into attack.
No, that was Gen 2.
That was Gen 2. You're right. Yes, Gen 2 split the special stat, and then Gen 3 added abilities and weather, and then Gen 4
Actually, I lied. Weather was technically Gen 2. I lied. It just very little Pokemon had weather moves.
Oh, huh.
But now you know.
Yeah. So it was such an evolution.
All right.
Was that?
What's on the break?
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick little break here. Oh my God, because I need to. My hair's a mess now. We're going to take a quick little break, folks, before our next match. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have another great round coming up very shortly. We'll see you on the other side.
Wait.
Be able to enjoy, and being able to be specifically on your like antique row and a lot of the historic sections of Kensington is a great honor, and we do consider a lot of the oldest Pokemon cards to be on their way to being antiques too. A lot of them are a few decades old already. Hi, my name is Ben DeGuire, and I'm co-owner of Player One Services here in Kensington, Maryland. Player One Services is a card store and grading center for Pokemon cards where people can come and play, trade, grade their cards, buy and sell cards, and in general just enjoy Pokemon.
Player One Services is like the place that I dreamed about when I was a kid. And we just wanted to make that place for kids today so that they have somewhere to come and commune with each other and enjoy a passion together. Hi, my name is Chelsea Rose, and I'm the co-owner and league owner here at Player One Services. Honestly, it started with Pokemon Go. I was super into the game, Ben was super into the game too. We played a lot in Hawaii, and it morphed into like a great community that we were a part of, being part of like the video game community, and then we branched out into cards when we found Ben's box of cards from when he was a kid.
Originally, Rose and I made a joke. We thought it would be really interesting if we could win Pokemon cards. Originally, we just like to collect them, but then within just a couple weeks, through a lot of good strategic planning, we really were paying for rent with Pokemon cards, and the rest is history. Pokemon is the largest intellectual property in the world, and it spans movies, TV games, video games, and more. Fun universes that people have gone on for the last 3 decades. Learning the game is very, very easy, but mastering it is the hard part. It is a very high skill cap, and just like chess or anything else that you could play, it's definitely easy to get into, but to master it and to be at the highest levels of it is very, very hard. And you can continue to refine and master your craft as you play with different play styles and different decks. For collecting, I would say that vast ocean that you can step into, and most people, I would say to just stay tailored to the things that you like the most, whether it's collecting every version of your favorite Pokemon, collecting every card from a specific set that had a lot of significance to you, or like me, try to collect them all. We are a very tight community, and the people that we serve are ultimately going to be the kids that are going to be playing the game years into the future. And so we want to be very family-oriented, and we want people to have a very good time while they're here.
Whether you know anything about Pokemon and you're interested in it, or you just saw Snorlax in the window, please come in. We want to tell you more about it. I want you to get excited about it because I'm excited about it for you. If you have cards, bring them in. I want to make sure they're protected. I want to continue to expand this community. I want to continue to give people a place to come so that they can express themselves with the card games and even like the cartoons or the shows. I want to make a safe space for kids to come in and love this hobby. I don't want people to stop caring about something they love.
One of the best ways to contact us is at Player One Services, all spelled out, at gmail.com, or directly on our website, playeroneservices.com.
losing two friends, but getting a new replacement.
Hello,
we
hello.
have Nicholas here in a amazing Mirror B cosplay.
Thank you,
If I do say so myself.
A very warm Mirror B cosplay, so let's see how long I keep it
Does
up.
make
But
up
for
for
now,
losing Teddy Ursa
I've got
and
it.
Consort, in my opinion. However, we are going into our next match with Slayer and Darius.
yes.
Now, you have personal relationship with one of them.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate a little more on that?
Hootie, aka the Hootie, aka my rival.
All right.
Both started VDC event about the same time. Both have fought each other very, very many times at live events. A couple weekends ago, we fought each other 4 times with championship points on the line. And I won all 4 times.
Let's go, let's
But we
go.
did get matched round 1 here, and he beat me. So I'm hoping someone here can stop his run and get him out. Actually, honestly, my goal for Hootie is I want him to lose in finals. I want him to make it all the way to finals, and then I want him to get destroyed in front of a larger audience. So I'm rooting for him in this match just so his fall is greater when it comes in just a little bit.
All right. I can respect it. I can respect it. A greater fall from grace. No. So, a greater fall of grace. So I do understand that. Now, has he been using the same teams from what you can tell? Or is this...
Yes, I think he's
okay.
so I think we had everyone
So still sticking
keep the
with the
same
exact
team in
same
between
sort of
rounds.
idea.
Yes, staying with the rounds. I'm looking at the teams now via these sunglasses, and now I'm looking at them
I
through
don't
a
have
red
my
wig.
reading glasses, so I'm like out here squinting. I'm like,
Both of them definitely have very solid mons. A lot of them definitely have the best rental mons. I'm sure you've been through it, but the interesting thing about stadium rentals is a lot of the mons are balanced by the better moves have worse DVs, the stadium equivalent of IVs, and worse moves. So often middle forms end up being stronger. But it looks like we're using all fully evolved Pokemon between the 2 teams.
and we do actually, it's almost entirely the exact same team, save for a couple different Pokemon with the Chansey and Kadabra, and the Moltres, and the, where is our difference here? No, it's just,
Yeah, very similar teams full of solid mons. Both have Persian, which is one of his strongest mons. One of the fastest mons in the format. And because Slash is a guaranteed crit from Gen 1 mechanics, it can hit extremely hard. I think it's the strongest move in the format is Persian Slash. But yeah, it's all the Gen 1 mechanics really come into play here in some ways that surprise both us and some of the players itself. Hootie got put kind of on the back foot in his last match I was watching, which wasn't on stream, because his Moltres got hit by an ice beam. And it was super effective, because fire doesn't resist ice in Gen 1, which I'm not sure if either of the players in the match even knew. Alright, so we're getting started. Ooh, a Persian lead, very strong against Chansey with its very low defense. Although its HP is so big, it could survive a Slash. Slash could also be an Oko, I'm not actually sure here. But Darius is definitely on the back foot with this lead.
Yeah, immediately swapping, you kind of have to, especially with just how valuable the resources are.
The Gengar switch, it's a bit obvious, but let's see if it's called. It is called with the Mimic, a risky play.
Getting the Confuse Ray instead of maybe Nightshade would have been a lot more.
Yeah. But putting Persian in a place where it can actually do something to this Gengar. Now, Confusion has a 50% chance to hit yourself in Gen 1, as opposed to when it was nerfed later, which is part of why I lost against Hootie, as I kept staying in, thinking surely I would break through this time, and I never did. But when it does go for the Mimic's Confuse Ray, getting the Confusion, 100% accurate.
And going for the Hypnosis.
Ooh, Confused Hypnosis is only a 30% chance, but going for that Hypnosis, getting your Persian, one of the most valuable pieces asleep, would be so valuable. I can get why he got for it, but didn't pay off here.
And sometimes you just need to take a risk like that, especially for just how much of a payoff it would have given.
Yeah. Let's see what's going here. Taking their time. Wouldn't be surprised to see a swap potentially on either side. So it's also trying to predict the swap. Could even see going for Confuse Ray a second time to just disable whatever switches in.
Potentially, but we were hovering over that swap Pokemon for a while, so we definitely were thinking about swapping there.
Persian switches out here. Let's see if Hootie goes for it as well. Into Gengar.
Going for the little bit of a mirror matchup
Gengar
here.
mirror. Oh, he stays and goes for Confusion and gets the 50% self-hit once again.
That's
So
a
noticeably, that puts Gengar under 96 HP, which is a huge number for Gengar because it means it dies to 2 Nightshades.
Yes, that is
Even just 5 HP more would mean to be able to live a third hit. Oh, the Gauntlet is still being ruled 60% accurate.
Hypnosis and hitting it.
Now, Sleep Clause is in Gen 1.
Yes.
Fast asleep.
Only in Stadium, actually.
Yes,
will
only in
this
Stadium. It's
news
the only
affect the
game with an
match?
official Sleep Clause interpretation.
So this could turn out to be in Kingslayer's favor if they decide to just swap out the Gengar and use that to guarantees that nothing else can
to
get
make sure
selected.
nothing else can go to sleep, or maybe something more valuable in this matchup.
The trainers changing
Are going
Pokemon.
to swap the Gengar. The Gengar kind of did its job already,
Yeah,
confusing
took
and
out a big
sleeping.
sleep and switched out. Version comes back in, but it still can't do much to the Gengar.
Other
Oh, yeah,
trainers
going into
also
the version
changing
to
Pokemon.
honestly predict the switch, because what else could you really do in that situation?
Oh, back in the Chansey, and we're right back in the situation we were on turn
How
1
will this
of
swap
the first part of his
affect the
match, but
outcome?
Hootie definitely is a bit behind with one of his Pokemon asleep.
There's not really an amazingly great option here. We could go for the Gengar, but the Gengar's asleep, so it might not pay off until much later.
Gengar is asleep, but since Persian
It's
can't
a
do much, maybe you try to burn a
revolving
sleep turn, or
Pokemon.
we'll see. Not
Potentially.
much wants to take a
It's been
slash.
known
Oh, it
that
does. It is
this
back
is
in the
the
Gengar,
right.
predicting the slash. And it is the slash.
Ooh, amazing swap
What's
there.
this?
However, once again,
Oh,
we're back
that's
into
a
the
bit.
Gengar. Even though it's no longer confused.
How